good evening all of you. I hope you all are doing good. So this batch is a CA Final Direct Tax regular course, which is absolutely as per the new course, which is released by ICAI on 1st of July, 2023. Now let me tell you a few things about the new course, how new course is different from the old course as far as direct tax is considered. As far as direct tax is considered, there is no great change in the direct tax as far as the old syllabus, because anyways, direct tax is a law. You can take direct tax, you can take indirect tax. These are law papers. Obviously, institute does not have that much leverage to change the subject. Anyways, we are used to changing the subject every year because of the relevant finance act every year. Anyways, that is not the case with other subjects like FR and SFM. Those subjects are very stagnant over the years. They only change when they become a new course. Every 5 years, 6 years, ICI bring a new course, and at that time, FR, financial reporting, strategic financial management, the name of the subject might change, the content might change to some extent. But in direct tax, every year we have a change in the subject. So there is no drastic difference in the old syllabus and new syllabus in the direct tax. Yes, but there are two things which are important to keep in mind as far as new syllabus is considered. There is only one chapter which is added by ICI in the new syllabus, and that is black money law. This black money law chapter was there earlier in elective paper. I hope you might be knowing that there was an elective paper earlier in the form of international taxation. In that there was a black money law, but now elective has gone. So now institute has shifted that particular chapter in the direct tax. It's not a very big topic, it's a small topic, but yes, it's an interesting topic. It's an emerging topic, it's a new topic. So that is one extra topic which we have to do as a new course syllabus students. That is the first thing that you have to keep it in mind. Second thing, in the new course, if you go through the prospectus of the ICI, which they have brought for around 175 or 176 pages, I think so you might have gone through that what exactly new course is all about. So in that they have very clearly written the objective of the course, and they have said that the objective of the course is very clear. We want to test practically. We want a CA final student to be practical oriented. We want CA final student to be knowing how to interpret a provision. We want CA final student want to know, we want that the CA final student should know how to apply a provision in practical life. So their approach is moving towards from a theoretical approach to a practical approach. I think so. That is what I feel from my side. So our batch will try to keep it as practical as possible, keeping aside at the same time, we need to also make sure that because of subject like direct tax, if I go on speaking, there is no end of that subject. I can even speak for 1000 hours, 2000 hours. There is no end. So we have to make a balance of practical approach, proper interpretation of the provisions. Along with that, we need to also make sure that are we able to complete the syllabus on time? Secondly, are we able to revise the syllabus properly? Are we able to solve the practical questions or not? Because the ultimate goal of you attending this lecture, no doubt, you want practical knowledge, all those things are fine. But ultimate goal is we want to pass our CA final exams in first attempt. That is something which is our ultimate goal. So how are we going to go about? Okay, what books are available? How we are going to approach the subject? All those things I'll just brief you up in the first 10-15 minutes, and then we'll start with the subject. Okay. So you guys will be getting 6 books. Okay. I have already couriered the books to you all. Maybe you will get in the next 3-4 days. Till that time, I guess you guys have got the soft copy of the books, right? Right? You have got the soft copy of 1 or 2 chapters, right? Okay. So the 6 books comprise of what? There are 3 types of books in this. There are 3 volumes of detailed books. There are 2 volumes of color books. And there is 1 volume of question bank. Now, let me tell you which book will be used when and how it is useful to us. Okay. The detailed books are, you can say it's a replica of ICI material. Okay. It's a kind of ICI material where you might get the bare act also of many provisions, where you will get detailed illustration, so on and so forth. You'll get all those things in the detailed book. Okay. Now, obviously, it is impossible to revise ICI material a day before exam. If you happen to see the new course, ICI material of direct tax is not released, I guess, so far. Because in the new course, so far, they have only released FR material and SFM material. They have not released direct tax material, indirect tax material. But if you see the old course material, it is around 2000 to 2500 pages. If you go through the entire direct tax material, it's very huge, it's very large. So practically it is impossible to revise this a day before exam. It is absolutely impossible. One cannot revise this a day before exam. So what is the second thing which we have done? The second thing which we have done is we have made colored book in less than 500 pages. Both the volumes taking together is less than 500 pages. And this covers the entire 100% syllabus, 100%. But we are not going to learn from this. We are going to learn from detailed book. And then to consolidate whatever we have done, we will come to this color book and we'll try to consolidate this. Okay. This detailed book covers almost majority of the chapter except some small topics like set off and carry forward, like chapter 6A, like some clubbing, etc. All those small topics might not be there in the detailed book. That is directly there in the summary book. That is the color book. One more myth which is there in the student's mind is, sir, are we going to do the IPCC topics? Absolutely yes. There is no second doubt about it that we are not going to do any IPCC topics. It's not like that. We are going to do everything that is relevant for CA final. Don't worry about it. You might have done business and profession in IPCC, CA Inter. We are going to do again in great detail in CA final. You might have done capital gains. You might have done set off and carry forward. You might have done chapter 6A. You might have done TDS. All those topics are also there in CA final and are equally important. It's not that it's not important. It's equally important. So don't worry about that. We are going to do all those things in CA final as well in detail. We are not going to skip any of them, because there is a myth in students' mind and there are many teachers who ignore generally the IPCC topics and focus more on the CA final topics. Like they focus more on international taxation or they focus more on assessment procedure. That is important, no doubt, but equally important is the IPCC topics. So we are not going to ignore them. Okay. So coming to this book, that is color book. We have made this color book for your ease of reference, for your ease of revision on the day before exams. And this is your color book. You are going to get 2 volumes. One volume you will get in the next 3-4 days. We have already couriered to all of them. And the next volume, I'll talk about that when I'm going to send it. Okay. Now, this book is, listen carefully, please. You're not supposed to write anything as of now. I'll let you know, Vignesh, if required. Okay. Just listen right now. This book is fully updated as per the latest Finance Act. You might be knowing the latest Finance Act is the Finance Act 2023, right? The budget 2023. And that budget is applicable for your exams. You guys might be giving exams either in May 24 or you guys might be giving exams in either November 24. Irrespective of whether it is May 24 or November 24, the syllabus will remain same for both the attempts. Okay. For every 2 attempts, the same syllabus is there in ICI curriculum. Like for May 23 and November 23, the syllabus is same. That is the budget of 2022 was applicable. So for you guys, the budget of 2023 will be applicable. So this book is fully updated as per 2023 budget. Now this book is colored for your ease of reference so that you develop some interest about the subject, and how we have used the color, that also it is important to understand. All the important points in the entire book you will find out in red color. We generally have a habit of underlining the important words, underlining the important phrases, etc. So you don't have to do all those things. That is something which I have done at my end. Okay. Still, if you want to underline something more important, you can do that. Now, second, all the amendments which are made by the latest Finance Act 2023, you will get all of them in green color. Why in green color? Because all the amendments have to be seen separately. The reason is because generally institute has a tendency of asking more questions from the latest amendments. Institute wants that being a chartered accountant, being a CA finance students, you should be well versed with the latest developments which has happened in the income tax law. So for that, we cannot merge that with the existing provision. We have kept it separately with the existing provision. This is the existing provision. This is the amendment, so that you put special focus on that particular provision. I'll just show you some of the topics just now. Then CA final is not about only remembering the provisions. It's also about knowing the case laws. That is, what is the judgment of High Court in this case? What is the judgment of Supreme Court in this case? So we have colored all the judgments in blue color so that you can have a clear identification of different aspects. And then the section numbers, which is always a headache for any student to remember so many sections. So we have highlighted the section numbers with different colors so that they can identify that these are the section numbers. So everything has been done properly in different colors. And this is the index which is there in great detail. It is not an index by just saying the name of the topic. It covers each and every inner part of the topic. Suppose if you don't want to do the entire topic, but you want to revise a particular part of the topic, say you want to discuss additional depreciation. So you'll directly go to page number 2.4 and we will discuss additional depreciation. Okay. So this is the detailed index covering each and every provision in the index itself, so that you can have a reference of that particular thing in your book. Okay, you can directly go to that page. I'll just give you a brief of the first chapter, how it is drafted. So as you can see, there is a blue color over here, Barendra Prasad Ray. It means there is some case laws of Supreme Court or High Court over here. Okay, some red color over there, which means that this is an important point, important text of this particular page. Some green color you will find out over here. It means this is what the amendment made by Finance Act 2023. Okay, so this is going to be a very important thing for you. No doubt, we are going to learn the entire subject from the detailed book. But at the end of the day, this is going to be your savior. This is going to help you. And this covers entire syllabus. Nothing is left over here. Nothing. It will be fully updated for your attempt. There will be nothing left over here. Everything will be updated as per your attempt. And that is the reason I will be sending you books in phases. I am not sending you all 6 books together. I have sent you 3 books as of now. Out of these 3 books, I have sent you 2 books plus. Out of these 2 books, I have sent you 1 book. So I have sent you as of now 3 books. Okay, I have dispatched to all of you. Now, with the help of these 3 books, we will be able to manage this month and will be also able to manage the next month. By the till 31st August, we'll be able to complete that much portion. As and when the August mid will come, I will also try to dispatch the remaining books, so that by the end of August, you have all the 6 books in your hand. And we have the books which are updated till the latest amendment. Okay. Now, one last thing over here, the last book, which is obviously the most important book for any CA Finance student for any subject, that is the question bank. Because this book will help you to understand the concepts. This book will help you to remember the concepts, because you can recap in a faster manner at a faster pace and you can remember the provisions. To revise, this book will be relevant. But understanding the provision is a different thing. Remembering the provision is a different thing, and application of provision is altogether a different thing. Therefore, this book will teach you what application of the provisions. Now, this book will have 4 types of question. First question, it will have all ICI material questions. Okay, all ICI material questions will be covered in this book, and we are going to solve all of them in the class. Don't worry, there will be more than 350 questions we are going to solve in the class itself. You can mark it down and you can count at the end of the batch on 15th of October if you want. Okay, I'm not just saying for the sake of saying. You might have heard about me from someone and then only you have joined at my batch. Otherwise, you would have not joined me. Considering that I'm not very famous in South India. Okay, I have just started in English in last year only. I am very famous in North India, not in South India. But anyways, the second type of questions in this book will be based on Finance Act 2023 questions, because there are so many amendments which are made in Finance Act 2023. So to understand the amendment, we need to have a proper practical questions based on that. So we'll be having a separate topic based on that. The third type of questions which will be there in this particular material will be past 6 to 7 attempts, RTPs, last 6 to 7 attempts mock test papers, and last 7 attempts exam papers. Now, this is going to be the most important part of your discussion in the entire batch, because that will tell us where we stand. After learning the entire batch for approximately 220 hours, last 15 hours, last 20 hours, we are going to do this exercise. That is past 6 to 7 attempts RTPs we are going to solve in class, mock test paper we are going to solve in class, exam papers we are going to solve in class, and as and when your exam will approach. So whatever the latest RTPs will come, right now I don't know the latest RTP for May 24, right? I don't know the latest RTP for November 24. I don't know that. So whenever that will come, that is also something which I am going to discuss, and I'll give you the video separately later on. Because that is something which is going to happen in future. Right now, I don't have that particular booklet. So right now, whatever RTPs is released by ICI till the date of taking the lecture, we will be discussing all of them considering the last 6 to 7 attempts. That will give you an exact idea of where we stand. Are we able to apply provisions? Are we able to solve one question of PGBP and suddenly one question of TDS and suddenly one question of assessment and then again one question of international tax? Because in exams, exam is not topic wise. In exam, entire syllabus is going to be asked on one day itself. And in 3 hours, your mind should work like that in 3 hours, entire syllabus should run in your mind. So we need to do some extensive exercise. And that is the reason I always tell that you should go for a regular batch, because this is something which is required at CA final level. Direct tax is a very complex subject. It's a very, very complex subject. It's not a that easy subject like other papers. It's a complex issue you might have done in office also. It's a very complex subject. There are a lot of complexities in the subject, so it requires some time. You have to give some time to the subject. Otherwise, you will not be able to do justice with the subject. So this is what we are going to do over the next few months. Okay. We'll try to be disciplined. We'll try to start the lecture on time at 6:30 p.m. Every day. We'll try to be disciplined. For that, I want you all to be on time. We'll try to end the lecture on time at 9:30. I'm not going to leave you early unless and until there is some extreme situation at my end. We'll try to complete the batch on time, that is on or before the dedicated date, which I have told you, that is 15th of October. I will try my best and I will be able to complete, don't worry, before the time. Okay. So let us start now without wasting any further time. Let us start with the discussion now. This is the brief background which I had to give you, which I have given you. There are a lot of other things which I have to say regarding the subject. I'll be speaking over the time whenever it is required. Now, we are going to start with the most complex law in this country, the Income Tax Act 1961. So I'll be asking you some questions in between so that we can keep the session to some extent interactive, so that you also enjoy, I also enjoy. I would like to ask you a question, and the question is, when the income tax law came in India for the very first time? When did income tax law came in India for the very first time? Yeah, Prashant, please. Hundreds of years, you are saying, Prashant?
In general, the practice of charging on income seems to be quite ancient. So
Okay.
if kings used to charge income, it would have been presumably under a law, and that could have been like hundreds of years back.
Okay.
Then
Not, you don't know any specific. Prashant has said it could have been hundreds of years back. The kings used to charge this, so it's an ancient practice of charging income tax law. You are absolutely correct at your. You are absolutely correct at your end. You have given a very diplomatic answer, Prashant. Anybody else? Palani has said 1961. Palani is very, very smart. By looking at what I have written on the board, Palani has answered that. Vignesh, no idea. Saddam, no idea. Okay. So let me tell you, when did income tax law came in India for the very first time? I'll go with Prashant's view, what he said. For the very first time, it was brought and introduced in India in 1860. Then people agitated and it got scrapped, and then it again came in 1874. Then people again agitated and then it again got scrapped, and then it again was brought in 1884. Then it was revised in 1886. You don't have to write all these things, please. I'll tell you what to write. Then it got changed in 1918. Then the next got changed in 1922, and this was a very important law for us. This law was called as the Indian Income Tax Act 1922. The Indian Income Tax Act 1922. Because this was made by obviously the Britishers. India was not independent at that time. Then in 1947, we got independence. In this year, there was no law which came. Okay. Obviously, that was the year of independence. We will fight and get independent, or we'll bring income tax law. So in 1949, what happened? We got our constitution, right? On 26th November, the constitution was drafted, and on 26th Jan 1950, the constitution was actually in practice. Then in the 12th year of Republic, which is the 12th year of Republic, that is 1961, we brought what? We brought our own income tax law, that is Income Tax Act 1961. So if you open the very first page of the BEAR Act, okay, the Income Tax Act 1961, okay, you will see on the very first page it is written, in the 12th year of Republic, we are bringing this law. It is written on the first page of the BEAR Act. So this is the history of income tax law. So it has become very old now, very, very old now. It is around 63 or 62 years old. So what do you feel? Is there a need to change the law now? Should they bring a new income tax law? The building has become very old. How much you will renovate a building here? You cannot renovate building for 60 to 70 years now. You have to break that, you have to demolish that, and you have to bring a new law. So just for your kind information, the government is in talks to bring a new law. They have also made a committee, but the government is very slow in India. Once they think to bring a new law, they at least take 15 years to make it implemented. Like GST. When was the GST? The government thought of bringing GST. The government thought of bringing GST in 2003. When it came in practice? In 2017, after 14 years. So we don't have to worry. Till the time the government will bring the new law, we all are going to clear our CA final exams. And we also are going to have sufficient amount of practice in this particular law. Don't worry. So right now we are going to obviously learn the Income Tax Act 1961. Okay. The second question which we need to raise over here is who brings law? Who makes law? Obviously it is the governments, right? There are two types of governments in India. That is central government and the respective state governments. These are the governments who have the authority to make law, right? Yes or no? So my question to you all is, suppose if tomorrow in 2024, if the government feels that there is a shortage of revenue, we are not able to collect sufficient revenue, the revenue which is collected right now is not sufficient to run the country. My question to you all is, can government bring a new law, new taxation law? Can Modi ji bring a new taxation law to charge tax on the citizens of this country, because the current taxation law is not sufficient enough to fulfill the needs of the government? Can they do so? Yes, Palani. Yes, Prashant. Yes, Vignesh. Saddam, please speak. Saddam, you are sitting like a statue. Please speak, beta. What do you feel? Can government bring a new law tomorrow if they feel that there is a shortage of money to run the country? Can they? They can. They have absolute power to bring any taxation law at any given point of time, just because they have complete majority in the parliament. Is it the way it works?
I think it has to be allowed by the Constitution.
Excellent. Modi ji and the government does not have any power to bring any taxation law. Why? Because the Constitution of India says that, listen carefully, in Article 265. Article 265 of the Constitution says that no taxes or duties shall be levied by the government unless the government has the power from the Constitution. It means to make any law, to bring any law in practice, the government, whether it is a center or state government, it doesn't matter. They should have the power from the Constitution of India. And we all know that, we have learned this in school. The Constitution of India is divided into how many parts? It is divided into three parts. The first part is what? It is the Union List 1, right? Second is the State List 2. And third is the Concurrent List, which is what? Number 3. Now listen carefully. What comes in Union List? What do I mean by union? Union means which government? Union means the central government, right? State means the state government, and concurrent means the powers which are there with what? The state government also and the union governments also. The power is shared by both of them. Now listen carefully. Go back in time. Go back in time and just think. In 1961, when the Indian government is thinking of bringing a new taxation law, that is Income Tax Act 1961, does the central government should have power or not to bring the law from the Constitution? Yes or no? If the central government is thinking, go back in time in 1961 and stand over there and then think. In 1961, the government is thinking to bring an income tax law. Can they bring any law on their own? No, they need to have a power. So where is the power? The power is given in the Union List. In which entry? Entry number 82, which says that the central government has the power to charge, listen carefully, income tax on any income except agricultural income. Except which income? Agriculture income. So if today, if the government wants to tax any income in this country, they can charge any income. They are not charging all income, obviously. All incomes are not charged. Some of them are still excluded from the chargeability of tax. But they have the right to charge everything except one income. That is agriculture. If agriculture income they even wish to tax now, they cannot tax. Central government cannot tax. Likewise, and that is the reason Income Tax Act came. If this entry would have not been there now, Income Tax Act would have not come. Income tax would have not come. Similarly, is there a custom law in this country? Customs law. Who collects the revenue of customs law? Again, central government, right? Central government is the sole authority to collect customs, right? What is the law of customs? What is the name of that law? It is the Customs Act 1962. You will learn that in IDT also, in CA final. From where the government of India has got the power to make that custom law. It is entry number 83, custom law. They can impose custom duties on whatever products they impose. So because there is a entry in number 83, that is the reason the government of India was able to bring the customs law. Similarly, prior to GST, which laws were there? Prior to GST, excise law was there, right? VAT was there. VAT was a state matter. I am not talking about the state matter. I am talking about the center matter as of now. Right now, VAT was a state matter na prior to GST. Yes, 84 talks about what? Excise duty. And that is the reason there was a law, Central Excise Act 1944. Otherwise, this law would have not come. Because there is a constitution which gives the power to make a law relating to excise duty, there is a power, there is a law. Therefore, it is not correct to say that government has absolute power. No, no, no. The government gets power from the supreme law. And that is what? Constitution. Nothing is above constitution in a democratic country. India is the largest democracy. There are many other democratic countries like United States is also a democracy, which is an oldest democracy. There are three types of nations across the world. One is democratic country like us. One is kingdom countries like Gulf countries. Dubai, you say Saudi Arab, all these are kingdom based countries. One is communist based countries like China, like Russia, where the prime minister is not changing only since last 30 years, since last 40 years. They are same only since last 30, 40 years. That is not good for the economy. Democratic countries are always good, provided people understand that. Likewise, there are many other entries. There are many other entries like that. Many other entries like that till 96. Till 96 entry. Sir, what are the other aspects? I am not getting into that, but still I'll tell you few of them. Like this, there is one entry which says that the government has the power to impose wealth tax. There is one entry which says the government has the power to impose gift tax, so on and so forth. But again, a very important factor which we need to keep it in mind. And that is, go back in 1949 when the constitution was drafted. It's a very interesting discussion. Go back again in 1949 when the constitution was drafted. And just think, the drafter of the constitution in 1949, do they know that what are the taxes which are going to come in the next 100 years? Do we know today what are the taxes which are going to come in the next 100 years, in 2100? We don't know. We don't foresee that. Okay. We don't foresee so ahead. The same way, the drafter of the constitutions were not aware that what are the taxes which are going to come in 1990s or 2000 or 2020 or 2030. So what they did, they said that what we are doing for the safety of the government, we will make certain specific points over here. These are certain specific entries. Okay. And then they said that we will put one entry number 97, which will be called as what? Residuary entry. And what they have written over, you know? Any taxes or duties which are not covered above are covered under this particular entry. But there is one rider, there is one condition over here, that a government can make, listen carefully, only small laws over here, not very transformation laws, small laws. If the government wants to impose certain small taxes, very small taxes, which are not very complicated in nature, they can just tax them, considering that this is the power given to them. So for every small taxes and for every small cess and for every small thing, they don't have to what? Change the constitution, because changing the constitution is a very lengthy and it's a very tedious process. Like for example, I would like to ask you, there are a lot of taxes which you are aware of in your life, which you would have learned over the period of time. Like, let me ask you, Have you heard about health and education cess, which is 4% applied on the income tax, right? This cess goes to which government? It goes to the central government, right? Now, from where the central government is getting the power to make this, to put this tax on us? From where? It is entry number 97 gives them the power. One more thing you will ask, sir, what is the name of the law of this particular cess? There has to be law, na? Every tax, every duty, every cess is imposed under a particular section of a particular law, right? Income tax law, income tax is imposed under the Income Tax Act 1961. GST is imposed under the IGST or CGST laws. Similarly, where is this imposed? So again, the government has said that very, very clearly that for this, don't make any law. In February, what comes? Finance bill comes in February, budget. In the budget, you just try to what? Announce it. Okay. After that, in budget, the government gives only what? A proposal. It's a proposal. If you listen to the speech of the finance minister, she will always say that I propose to make the following change. I propose to make this. I propose to do that. I propose to do that. That is just a proposal. But 1 or 2 months after that, in the month of March, that proposal becomes what? Final. And that is called as what? Finance Act. And Finance Act comes every year. So if somebody asks you, where is health and education cess imposed? You would say what? Under the, say, relevant Finance Act. There is no separate law for health and education cess. Just a second. Just give me a second. Similarly, let me ask you some more taxes which you are aware of. STT. Everybody is aware of STT? Securities Transaction Tax, which is imposed on purchase and sale of what? Shares and securities and mutual funds in a stock market, right? I'm asking you. This revenue goes to which government? Central government. Where is the law? What is the law of this particular tax? Is there any law called as STT Act? Is there any STT Act in this country? Sir, not aware. Absolutely, there is no law. Where it is imposed? It was introduced by Chidambaram in 2004. It was introduced by P. Chidambaram in 2004. So what is the act of this STT? Finance Act? Say na please. Finance Act 2004, that's it. Similarly, do you remember that? That prior to GST, there was for services, which law was there for services? Service tax. What was the name of the service tax law? What was the name? Was there a Service Tax Act? There was no Service Tax Act. It was also imposed through Finance Act 1994. There was no separate law for service tax. I will speak about that in a while, why it was so. Anyway, service tax was a very big law, yaar. There was a huge amount of revenue which the government was earning from service tax. It is understood that you are not making a law for STT because it's a small tax, right? It is understood that you are not making a law for health and education tax. It's a small part of revenue. But why the government has not made the provision for what? Service Tax Act. Why the government did not brought a service tax law? I'll be speaking about that in a while. So the point I'm trying to say is very clear that the government need to do what? The government need to have a power from the constitution to make any particular law. Similarly, I'll speak few things about the state list and concurrent list also, even though we are not much interested in that because we are more interested in the union list. State list, please tell me. So one question has come from Palani. So the old Finance Act are scrap and new comes? No, it doesn't scrap. The whatever amendments come in the Finance Act, those amendments will be implemented in the Income Tax Act. Okay. So Finance Act 2022 amendments were implemented in Income Tax Act 1961. And in 2023, again, they will propose the new amendments. Okay. Now, state law. Give me some examples of taxes or duties or any kind of revenue that the government generates through state law? Please. VAT. Is VAT imposed today also? After GST? VAT on what? Liquor. Yes, petrol, diesel. Now, why the hell these people are not bringing petrol and diesel in GST? You would know. Why? Because they are already imposing how much taxes on this? Around 60 to 70% they are already imposing, right? Do you agree to this? And if they bring this to GST, then they will be restricted to how much? Say 28%, which they don't want to do it. And that is the reason they are not bringing petrol and diesel to what? To the GST regime. Anyways, that is a political decision. Second thing, any other taxes or duties? One very important tax and duty you are missing, which is imposed by state government. Stamp duty. Agreed? Stamp duty on purchase on sale of what? Immovable properties. Right on? That's a very big amount here, considering the state to state law. In Maharashtra, in Mumbai, it is 6%. In your state, it might be some other rate. Okay, but somewhere around 4 to 6% it is there in most of the states. What about concurrent list? Concurrent list, there might be something called as octroi duty, which was relevant earlier, not today, which was shared by central government and state government both. The point I am trying to say that the government, the constitution has divided the responsibilities between center and union, because it is not possible that one country, this country can be controlled by one person. It is not possible. Considering the diverse nature, considering the diverse religions, caste, communities, way of living, languages, yes, it is not possible. So because of the language, I have to take this batch. Otherwise, I would have not taken this batch, right? Because of the language. I am not saying that you are wrong at your end, but there is a lot of issues in language. People of South India might not get what well versed with the North Indians. North Indians might not get well versed with the South Indians so easily. So it is, how is it possible that one person can control the entire country? It is not possible. So if you are staying in Tamil Nadu, a minister who is staying in Tamil Nadu will understand your problems better as compared to a minister who is staying in Maharashtra. Not possible. If a North Indian is there, a North Indian person will understand the problems of North Indian in a better manner as compared to a South Indian. So that is the reason the drafter of the constitution know it very properly at the very beginning in 1950s only, that we have to make two kind of governments over here, one central and one state, and we have to give different powers to different governments. Now, one more thing which I would like to tell you, does the government, all these taxes and laws which I have said you, these are only the revenue laws, right? These are the revenue laws. Does the government only make revenue laws, or they also make non-revenue laws also? Like example, what do I mean by revenue law? Revenue law means a law which is made to collect revenue. Like income tax is made to collect revenue, GST is made to collect revenue, right? Stamp duty is made to collect revenue. Excise is made to collect revenue. Customs is made to collect revenue. What are non-revenue laws? Non-revenue law are for administration purpose. Like Companies Act. Companies Act is what? Is it made to collect revenue or to regulate? It is for regulations, right? Like you can say Uniform Civil Code which the government is thinking of bringing. It is a revenue law? No. It is for administration, regulation. Like CAA, Citizenship Amendment Act, right? Or like you can say even Indian Contract Act, right? All these are what? Non-revenue laws. So all the laws are categorized into two categories. Okay. One is revenue and another is non-revenue. I am obviously interested in the revenue law. I am not interested in the non-revenue law because I am teaching you income tax law. But the very reason I am saying you is to understand the next concept in a proper manner. Now suppose the government, the central government has what? Got the power. Got the power from what? From the constitution. Please tell me what will be the next step. What will be the next step of the government? Step by step, you have to go into minute detailing. Yes, Palani. The next step would be, they have to what? Draft a law, right? Obviously, if you want to introduce any law, you have to draft first. Without drafting a law, you cannot bring directly, you cannot tell the people of this country from tomorrow we are bringing this law. No, 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 no. You have to draft a law. You have to share it with the people of this country. They will give their opinion, so on and so forth. Like for GST law, they have made various drafts. They have shared it with different institutions like ICAI, like big corporates, so on and so forth. And then they have given their opinions. And after taking their opinion, they have made the final law. So drafting and making the law is a very lengthy process. For that, the government will make a lot of committees, government will make a lot of boards. So like CBDT, etc. will be involved in that. It's a lengthy process. Once the law is drafted, what is the next step? Please tell me. Please speak. You have to go to the parliament, right? Public comments, obviously, that is a part of draft of law. You have to go to parliament. And in parliament, there are two houses, right? One is Lok Sabha, another is Rajya Sabha. Now, why I am saying all these things? Sir, are you teaching us politics? No, 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 absolutely no. But being a CA student, you have learned more than 10 laws so far in your CA curriculum from CA Foundation till CA Final. But you don't know exactly the process of making the law. That is something which is wrong. You are a chartered accountant. You are going to be chartered accountant in next few months. You should be aware of the lawmaking process. That is the reason we are doing so. This is not only relevant for direct tax. It is relevant for any taxation law that you are going to learn, or any non-taxation law also which you are going to learn in your life. Even though the paper of law itself has been removed from your syllabus, but still it will help you to some extent in some or the other way. Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. Now my very important, a very minute question which I have also asked to my Hindi batch students in the morning. I have a draft in front of me. Okay, please mute yourself if there is a voice background noise. Saddam. There is a law in front of you. You are saying go to parliament. My question to you all is, where should I go first? Should I go first year, then year? Or should I go first year and then year? Or I can go anywhere. Absolutely your choice. Sir, wherever you want to go, go na sir. Nobody is asking. Please tell me. First Lok Sabha, then Rajya Sabha. Why so? Who is speaking this? Vignesh? Okay. So Vignesh is saying you have to go to Lok Sabha first, then Rajya Sabha. You don't have to go to Rajya Sabha and then Lok Sabha. That is wrong. Vignesh is saying this one is correct. This one is wrong. Absolutely correct. You have to go to first Lok Sabha and then Rajya Sabha. But that is true. That is true for revenue laws, not for non-revenue laws. For revenue law, you have to go this year first, place the bill, get the majority. Passed, passed. Then go here, place the bill, get the majority. Pass. Then go to the president and do that formality, okay, of getting the assent, of getting the signature. But for non-revenue laws, listen carefully, like Companies Act, like Payment of Bonus Act, like many other, like Indian Contract Act, so on and so. You have to go to Rajya Sabha first and then Lok Sabha. Now let us understand why so. Why so? Why is it like that? Why you have to go to the other way around in case of non-revenue law, and why you have to go to Lok Sabha first and then Rajya Sabha in case of revenue laws? For that, we need to understand the difference between a Lok Sabha and a Rajya Sabha. What is Lok Sabha? What is Rajya Sabha? Please tell me, what is Lok Sabha? What is Lok Sabha exactly? Who sits over there in the Lok Sabha? MPs, Member of Parliaments. Okay, how many Member of Parliaments are there in this country? 543 for your information. You're going to give exams in the next year. And how this is related to your exam. If you're giving exams in May 2024, so exams are not going to be in May 24, it is going to be in June 24 for your kind information. Okay. Because 2024 is an election year. And if there is an election, the government of India does not bear anything. They have shifted the entire IPL to some other country because of election. What is ICI exam in front of the government of India? It's a very small thing, right? ICI exams is a matter of few hundreds of crores, not hundreds of crores also, less than that. They shift the entire IPL because they don't want any kind of diversion when it comes to elections of union government. So 543 MPs are there. Listen carefully, please. Then who sits in Rajya Sabha then? What is Rajya Sabha? Let's talk about Lok Sabha first. You are going to give a vote next year. To whomsoever you are going to give a vote means 140 crore people are going to go out of their house and they are going to give vote. To whomsoever we are going to give a vote. And if that person is elected, that person will be called as what? Member of Parliament. And that person will go to the Lok Sabha and sit and represent our constituency. Are you clear? So Lok Sabha members are elected by the people of this country. That is the reason this is also called as People's House. It is also called as what? People's House. The second name of Lok Sabha is People's House. Then what is Rajya Sabha? Here also the people who sit is member of parliaments only. But they are not elected by the people directly. Within the political party like BJP, like Congress, like AIADMK, etc. Within the political parties, every political party send their representative in the parliament. Like for example, have you heard about a person called as Raghav Chadha, who is a Delhi MP? He's a chartered accountant also. Okay, who is getting married to that Bollywood actress Pariniti Chopra. Okay, so he's a member of parliament. He's a member of parliament, but he's not a Lok Sabha member. He's a Rajya Sabha member. Aam Aadmi Party has sent him. The same way Sachin Tendulkar was also a member of parliament, if you are aware of that. But he has not fought election anywhere. But Congress party has sent him. Same way Rekha, the actress Rekha. Jaya Bhaduri, wife of Amitabh Bachchan. She is also a member of parliament from Samajwadi Party. But she has not fought election. Same way Javed Akhtar, a lyricist. He is also a member of parliament. Same way Vijay Mallya. He was also a member of parliament, if you are aware of that, from Bharatiya Janata Party. Obviously, before he flew from India. So there are lot of celebrities, lot of people with great recognition in the country. Parties send them on behalf of the party. And they are the people who are going to be part of what? Rajya Sabha. So Rajya Sabha members are not elected by us, right? Who are elected by us? Lok Sabha members are directly elected by us, right? So it's very clear. Now listen the logic and see how it is drafted. So beautifully they have drafted. So the thought process of the people who have drafted, just understand that. In case of revenue law, does the revenue law impact every citizen of this country? Taxation law, impact everyone? Yes or no? It might impact, na? Forget about everything. GST, does GST impact everyone in this country? Even a smallest of the beggars also have to pay GST because they buy something for their living, na? They have to pay GST, right? So, revenue law is going to impact 140 crore people in this country. Therefore, it should be first passed by whom? The people who have selected them. That is by the people. Are you clear? And then Rajya Sabha is a formality. Now, let's think the other way around. Let's talk about non-revenue law. Let's talk about, say, for example, Companies Act. Is Companies Act going to affect 140 crore people? It is not going to affect. So why to unnecessarily trouble 543 people first? First trouble these less number of people. They will pass it, and if they pass, they will do the formality of passing. Okay. This is how the law runs. Okay. This is what I had to say about the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. And once that is done, then there is a formality. For us, what is important? For us, under the income tax law, it is very clear that we have to go to first Lok Sabha and then Rajya Sabha. Okay. The finance bill also goes to first Lok Sabha and then the Rajya Sabha, because finance bill itself says that it is about finance, money. And if it is about finance, money, taxation, etc., then every person of this country is going to be affected because of that. So coming to the next part. What is the last part? After we got the approvals, Government of India has got the approval from Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. What is the next thing? It's a formality. What is the formality? We have to go to this particular authority in this country, which is the highest authority, but does not have any power, powerless. President of India. And we have to take what? The assent. Assent means an approval. And after that, the law is what? Ready from a particular date. Is it clear to everyone, this lawmaking process? Okay. And this is where we are going to start with our law. And the name of our law is what? The Income Tax Act 1961. Okay. Now, sir, there are how many sections in this chapter? in this particular act there are, any idea? More than 200. Palani, okay, again a very diplomatic answer. 290? Excellent. There are 298 sections under the income tax law. There are 23 chapters under the income tax law. How many chapters? 23. So any law has to be divided into chapters. Otherwise, it will look very vague, improper. It will not be in the proper manner. Like you would have done one of the very famous chapter in your CA inter exams, and that is what? Chapter 6A, 80C, 80D, right? 80G. So entire income tax law is divided into 23 chapters. So what are the chapters? I cannot list all of them. I also don't remember all of them in the order, but I can name some of them which are important. Like one of the chapter talks about TDS. One of the chapter talks about, yes, chapter 17B talks about TDS. One of the chapter talks about filing of returns. One of the chapter files about filing of appeals. One of the chapters talk about a MAT, etc., MAT, AMT, minimum alternate tax. One of the chapter talk about computation mechanism. One of the chapter talks about set off and carry forward of losses under the income tax law, so on and so forth. So there are 23 chapters in all. There are 298 sections in all. But apart from that, does income tax law also has income tax rules? What is the year of the income tax rule? Income tax rules 1962. Okay. Next question is, who frame rules? Who make rules? Who has the power to make rules? The power to make rules is with the central government. Always remember, please see here. The power to make rule is with the central government. From where the central government get the power to make rule? The central government get the powers from Income Tax Act. Section 295 of the Income Tax Act give the power to the central government to make rule. Now listen, this is a very minute discussion. My first question, I am asking you two questions. Please think and answer. First question, where the law is made? What is the place where the law will be made? Inside the parliament, right? Law cannot be made in the office of Modi government, na? It cannot be made. It has to be made inside the parliament. Second question, from where the power will come? Constitution entry number 82. Is it clear to everyone till here? Now the second question, the law is made now. Now the government wants to make rules. Can the government make rules in their office? For that they have to go to parliament, or they can make it in their office. Can central government make income tax rules or make amendments in the rules in the office, or every time they are making a rule they have to go to the parliament? They will make in their office, CBDT office. Okay. From where they are getting this power to make rules? From the act. So try to understand the hierarchy. The topmost law is what? Constitution. Constitution gives power to make act. An act in itself will give power to make rules. And this is the logic for every law in this country. Believe me, you take any law in this country, you will get a corresponding section to section 295. And it will be given as a heading, power to make rules. What will be the heading? Power to make rules. And this power is given by act to the government. And the government is CBDT here, because CBDT is a representative of government. Because government means what? Government is a part of different department, consolidately makes government, na? Is enforcement directorate also a government? Yes, it is. Yes or no? Different parts of the department makes government. So this is how the law making process goes. Now let us start with our act now. Now we are getting inside the act now. And when we are getting inside the act, we need to analyze sections. And what is the first section of every act? What is the first section of every act? Please tell me. No, it's not introduction. Okay, where it applies? Okay, excellent. It talks about three aspects. Huh? Yes, it talks about date, Prashant. Correct, commencement date. Yes, Palani. It talks about short title. It talks about three things. I am writing all three of them. First, short title. Second, extent and applicability. And third is your commencement. Every law will come with these three things in section number 1. Every law, you open any law. I'm not only teaching you income tax for the first 1.5 hours. I'm teaching you any law. You can consider this is the discussion of any subject, which is a law. Short title, extent and applicability, commencement. From when it commenced? It commenced from 1/4/1962. Now you will say why 1962? It should be 1961, right? No. Income tax gives more preference to what? It gives more preference to the assessment year rather than what? The previous year. It is not whatever department send you notices. It is in with reference to what? Assessment year. ITR forms are in reference of what? Assessment years, right? So everything in income tax law is mostly based on assessment year only. No doubt income tax is applicable from 1/4/1961, but the calculation of the income tax will be done from 1/4/1962. Short title. Sir, what is the short title? The short title of the income tax law is the Income Tax Act 1961. So it is written in section 1. This act may be called as the Income Tax Act 1961. So once a very strange question came to my mind, that if this is a short title, then what is the long title? Suddenly one day it came to my mind. Then I opened the income tax law. If any person has a nickname, then there has to be a full name also, na? A person cannot born with a nickname, na? I was born with a nickname only. I don't have a full name only. It is not practically possible. So what is the full title then? What is the complete name of this law? So if you go to the first page of the Income Tax Act, you will find out the complete name. And it's a 3-line phrase which says that an act to consolidate the law relating to income tax and super tax. Super tax is a concept which was there earlier, which was imposed on rich people, which is similar to surcharges now, which is now surcharge. Now it is not there. It was there at the beginning of the law when it was introduced. So if you go to office tomorrow, you go and see the very first page of the Income Tax Act. You will find out there an act to consolidate a law relating to income tax and super tax. We cannot say this again and again. That is the reason we may call this act as what? The Income Tax Act. Commencement from 1/4/1962, and the most interesting part is going to come now. This act is applicable to what? Please say where it is applicable. Whole of India. What about J&K? Including J&K? Okay. I'll just tell you this now. Yeah, you are audible, beta. You all. I don't think so. There should be any issue because rest of them are chatting. Prashant is chatting.
Yeah, sir. I don't know the reason exactly why I was not able to chat. There's no any save button. I was typing the message, but there's no any save option.
We will just try to resolve that. Just manage today, Saddam. Okay? We will try to resolve that. Okay. Whole of India, including the state of what? Jammu and Kashmir. Now, this was the sentence which was written in every law before 2019, either including or excluding. Before what? 2019. Every law, whether it is including or whether it is excluding, it doesn't matter. Some laws are including J&K, some laws are excluding J&K. But now we all know that what is removed in 2019? Article 370 got removed in 2019, right? And the special status of J&K was taken back from them, right? I'll tell you the entire story. So you as a student, you will be curious to know, so what used to happen before 2019? Was income tax applicable in the state of J&K? Please tell me. Now it is applicable only. Now J&K is not a separate, now J&K is not a state only for your information. It's a union territory. The government has not kept it a state also, right? They have divided into 2 territories now. The word state itself is not relevant now. So what used to happen before 2019? Any idea whether income tax law was applicable in the state of J&K? Any idea? Palani is saying yes. Prashant? Vignesh? Yes, it was applicable.
To a separate approval in that state legislature.
Yes, yes, it is applicable. It was applicable. It was applicable. Huh? It was applicable even in J&K. Income tax law was applicable from the very beginning in J&K. Income tax law was applicable from the so then which law was not applicable? I'll speak about that. Okay. But what is this funda of J&K? Let me speak about that. That is something which you as a student, you should know. What is this exactly the funda of J&K and what was this fight exactly between the J&K people and the Indian government? In 1947, when we got independence, listen carefully, it's a long history. It's a political history. When we got independence in 1947, J&K was not ready to be part of India. They were saying that we don't want to be part of India. We don't want to be part of Pakistan also. We want our separate country. Okay. We want our separate country. So the Indian government convinced them. What is the reason that why you don't want to come to us? So they said that if we come to, if we become a part of India, then sitting in Delhi, you will impose what? New taxation laws and other laws on us. Right? So we don't want to be part of India. So the Indian government said that we will give you what? An assurance that will not impose any law on you without your approval. So the J&K state government said that, how can we believe you? We cannot believe you. You are a politician ultimately. You are giving a oral assurance and then you will back out from that assurance. So the Indian government said that, don't worry, we will put an article for you. Article 370 in the Constitution of India, and we will say that no law will be made applicable in the J&K except with the approval of J&K government. Without the approval of J&K government, it cannot be made applicable. So J&K government said that now, then it is fine. Then we are ready to be part of what? Indian government. And because of this particular article, J&K was ready to be part of India. Otherwise, J&K was not interested to be part of India. Because of this article, they became part of India. Now, what used to happen? Because of this article, J&K gets a special status now. What special status? Every time a law was passed in Delhi, they have to go to J&K and make it pass again in the J&K assembly. For example, if a law is passed in Delhi, then it is applicable to the whole of country. In Maharashtra, they don't have to come to once again. In Tamil Nadu, they don't have to come to once again. In Kerala, they will not come once again. But in Jammu and Kashmir, they have to go again. And they have to take the approval of J&K state government. And if J&K state government gives approval, then only that law is applicable to J&K. So it's a double filtering. I hope you understood. One at center level, one at state level. Right? So 1961 came. Listen to the entire story. It's a beautiful story. 1961 came and the government of India said that we want to bring income tax law. Prashant, it's okay, yaar. Your kids are roaming, it's okay. There's no issue in that. It's okay. It's all fine.
They just came from outside.
Let them learn income tax law. Hi. How are you? Bye, beta, bye. So in 1961, the Indian government asked to the J&K government, are you interested in bringing income tax law? They said, yes, we will bring income tax law. So J&K government gave an approval to bring income tax law, and therefore income tax law is applicable in J&K from the very beginning. Then in 1962, the Indian government went to the central government. Are you interested in bringing customs law? J&K government said, yes, we are interested in bringing what? Customs law also. And therefore the customs law was applicable. Why they were agreeing to all the laws? Because everything was fine at that time between India, Pakistan, J&K, everything was peaceful. Okay, is it clear till here? Shall I go ahead? Then what happened in 1970s? Very, very dangerous tragedy happened. This is India. This is Pakistan. This is Bangladesh. Right? I don't know whether you know this or not. When independence happened in 1947, we gave Pakistan two parts. This part was called as West Pakistan. This part was called as East Pakistan. Are you aware of that? There were two parts which were given. Saddam, not aware? Okay. Okay. Pakistan was asking for a larger portion from North India. They were asking for Rajasthan also. They were asking for Punjab also. So the Indian government said that we cannot give you all these things. We will give you a smaller portion of the east part. Okay. So one West Pakistan, one East Pakistan. This was both Pakistan. But that was very difficult for the Indian government to manage them. Because from here also there was problem. From here also there was problem. Yes or no? If the enemy is coming from two sides, it's very difficult to deploy your forces at two places, na? So what Indira Gandhi did, Indira Gandhi said to East Pakistan politicians and people over there, who are mainly Bangladeshi, who are mainly Bengali peoples, who speak in Bengali. She told them that why don't you separate from Pakistan here? Why you have to always dependent on them? Separate now. So these people said that East Pakistan people, the Bengali people said that we don't have that much power to fight with them, the Lahori people and the Islamabad people. They are very powerful. Indira Gandhi said that don't worry, I will supply you the military. I will give you the Indian military. She gave them Indian military to fight against the Pakistan, and they got separated and they made Bangladesh in somewhere around in 1970s. Obviously, because of this West Pakistan government would be very aggrieved. They'll be very angry, and they started their hostile activities over there of terrorists and all after that. So all these things got emerged in 1980s and 90s. Then after that, obviously the tensions were to another level after 1980s. Then in 1994, our dearest finance minister, ex-finance minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh came up with what? The proposal of service tax law. So again, when he brought service tax law, he brought service tax law only for 3 services initially. Only 3 services were covered. Okay. So when he brought the service tax law, obviously it was applicable in the entire country. Right? It was on telecom, one was on insurance, and there were 3 services on which it was applicable. So Dr. Manmohan Singh went to Jammu and Kashmir and said that I want to bring what? Service tax. Is Jammu and Kashmir going to listen? They are not going to listen. Why? Because they feel that because of them, Pakistan got separated into 2 parts, and because of Indian government, the hostile activity has started in J&K. That is the mentality which they have developed. Are you able to understand? So they said that we don't want, sorry, go, please go back. And that is the reason from 1994 till 2017, service tax law was never applicable in the state of J&K. Are you clear? It was never applicable. But in 2014, the government was changed. And this government, one of the important proposal which the government has made in the election, that we will bring GST. We will bring GST. Now, they know that they know everything when they are going to do. It is just that they take the decision based on politics. When to implement which law, when to not implement which law, so on and so forth. They know that when to do what. They know when to open the gates of the Ram Mandir. They know that. They know when to implement the UCC, Uniform Civil Code. They know that at the time of, they know when to increase the slab rates for taxpayers. They know that. They know that. Last time when they increased the slab rates to 5 lakh rupees, that was in 2019 election. Pre-election budget. That time they increased to 5 lakh. They know that. All of them are politically motivated. So now the question is, where is Prashant? The question is, in 2014, the BJP government came. Okay, listen carefully, very interesting. Now, in 2017, GST came on which date? 1st July 2017, right? Now, again that issue will come or not of implementing GST where? In J&K. So, what the government of BJP did? In 2016, they did a coalition with a PDP, which is a J&K government. Mehbooba Mufti, you might have heard, if you are interested in politics little bit. In 2016, the Bharatiya Janata Party, that is the union government, did a coalition with that government to whom they used to curse in 2014. Okay, before the election, that this Mehbooba Mufti is a corrupt person, this, that. In 2016, they joined hands with them. After they joined hands with them, okay, 2017 GST came. So GST came to the whole of India excluding J&K initially. Then on 7th or 8th of July, I don't remember the exact date, they passed GST law in the state of J&K also, because the J&K government was a part of BJP government. Are you able to understand that? So 2017 gone, but they are forcing 2019. What was there in 2019? Again a union election. So in 2019, with what face they will go? Because in 2014 they have cursed the same government of J&K. So in 2018 they did what? Break up. They did break up with what? PDP. They joined PDP only for 2 years. That is 2016 to 2018. Now the intention is very clear. Anybody who understands taxation law and who understands politics will appreciate this move of the government. Otherwise, it would have been impossible to implement what? GST in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. So to implement the GST in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, they first join hands with the J&K government, implement it smoothly, then leave them. This is the strategy that the government has followed. Now, after that, on 5th of August, I guess 2019, right? The Article 370 was what? Revoked. And Article 371, there was 1 or 2 more articles which was revoked. But that is not related to taxation. That was relating to buying properties in the state of J&K. Earlier, an outside person was not supposed to buy property in J&K. Do you remember that? But after removal of that Article 370, exactly, I don't remember, 371A, it was something like that. Yeah, 35A, sorry. Article 35A. So property, now it can be purchased in the state of J&K, even by you and me. So now in 2019, they removed this article, and because of that, all the laws of the country has to be changed now. Now there is no need to what? Specially mention what? This particular sentence. Do you agree or not? There is no need to specially mention this sentence now. Is there any need to mention this? Is there any need to mention now? It is absolutely not required. And therefore, this was removed from all the laws now. All the laws. Because the first reason is Article 370 is not there. Just a second. Just a second. I'll just see what. The first reason is Article 370 is not there. Okay. The second reason is J&K is not a state only now. So forget about writing in the state of J&K, right? Including the state word is not relevant only now for J&K. Correct? So therefore, this is removed from all the laws. And now J&K is as good as any other part of this country. It is as good as any other part of this country. Still, taxation law, income tax is not applicable in certain states. Still, I hope you might be knowing, in Sikkim, income tax is not applicable to some extent. And Sikkim has a different story that I'll speak sometime later, okay? Because that is a part of syllabus. That also we have to discuss. So this is what this entire story of J&K is all about. Now coming to the discussion once again of section 1. Extent and applicability. It is applicable to whole of India now. Forget about this line. I am removing this line. Okay? I am not interested in this phrase now. It is applicable to whole of India. So now the question will start. What do I mean by? What do I mean by India? India means what? Is the word India defined under income tax law? Yes, it is defined. It is defined in section 2, clause 25A. It is defined here. How it is defined? Suppose this is a rough map of our country and this is the landmass. Okay. This is definitely India, right? The entire landmass from north to south and east to west and all the union territories. How many union territories are there in India today? How many union territories are there in India today? 9. 9 union territories are there. Okay. Which are those 9 union territories? Delhi, Chandigarh, Diu and Daman, then Andaman Nicobar, Lakshadweep. Goa is not a union territory. It has got the statehood. Delhi we have already said. Lakshadweep. Then Dadra and Nagar Haveli. Right? So all of them are part of Andaman and Nicobar Islands. All of them are part of India only. All of them are controlled by the Indian government. And now J&K and Ladakh. Right? they are also union territories now. So definitely the landmass is union territory. Apart from that, sir, listen carefully. Apart from that, suppose the landmass ends here. So the water area, which is called in technical words as territorial waters of India, TWI, the territorial waters of India up to 12 nautical miles, is also India. So if you do any activity over here up to 12 nautical miles from the shore, from the seashore, from the land, that will also be considered to be what? As a part of India only. So just give me some examples that the activities which can be conducted over here, like fishing activity, obviously. Apart from that, oil exploration might happen. Yes, not possible because generally oil exploration happens in deep sea. It is not at the shore. For that, you have to go deep inside 100 miles, 150 miles. Anything apart from that? Anything apart from that? Casino. Have you been to Goa? If you have been to Goa, you will come to know there are a lot of casinos which are running in Goa inside sea. Inside sea. There are big, big casinos, big, big cruises are there, which are still at one place. Those are 5-star casinos over there. They are earning huge amount of money. So government of India is not willing to take taxes from them. Definitely yes. Government is not going to leave them. So government is targeting that area also. Plus, the government is also targeting the airspace above the landmass and above the territorial waters of India. Airspace above. Income can be earned on land, income can be earned in water, income can also be earned in air also, na? For example, this is my building. Okay. So the airspace above this building is also mine, na? For example, if you have seen IPL matches, right? So IPL matches happen in a big ground, obviously. So there are a lot of balloons which are rotating above the ground. Have you seen that? Which is promoting different kind of companies. Yes or no? So are they paying to IPL authorities or not? For that advertisement, to cover that particular thing. So from where they are earning income? From land? From sea? No. Their activity is happening in the airspace. Are you able to understand that? So that income will also be subject to tax in India. If your activity of airspace is above the landmass or above the 12 nautical miles of territorial waters of India, that will also be called as a part of India. And last but not least, listen carefully. There is an oil rig over here for exploration of oil, which is at 150 nautical miles. Why, sir? Why so deep? Because oil rigs, all of them are installed in deep inside the sea. You will not get oil at the shore or at the nearest to the land mass. You have to go deep inside. So with that logic, this will not be part of India, right? Because this is beyond 12 nautical miles. No, but there is one more thing which the government has included over here, yeah, is up to 200 nautical miles, certain exclusive economic zone. This area is called as exclusive economic zone. If you do certain activities, listen carefully now. If you do certain activities like oil exploration, then the definition of India is not restricted to 12 miles. It is extended to how many miles? Up to 200 nautical miles. And the name also suggests what? Listen carefully. Exclusive economic zone. Exclusive means what? It is exclusive for certain activities, not for everyone. Economic means what? For commercial activity. It is exclusive for commercial activity. And zone means what? An area. An area which is exclusively for earning money relating to certain exclusive activities. That will also be called as part of India. And there is only one thing which is notified by the government, that is oil exploration. Apart from that, there is nothing else which is covered over here. For example, I'll just like to ask you a question. Suppose if I go to 120 nautical miles and do fishing activity, will it be part of India? Will it be part of India? No, because that is not covered in exclusive economic activity. Are you clear? In exclusive up to 200 nautical mile, only one activity is covered. That is exploration to oil and natural gas, whatever you explore inside the sea. Okay. So this is what the definition of India is all about. So, and this is what your section 1 is all about. I hope everyone is clear with short title, commencement, extent and applicability, definition of India, and why J&K has been removed from the law everywhere. Okay. Now coming to the second section. What is second section of every law? Definitions. Definitions of various terms which are used inside the law. And there are around 98 definitions under the income tax law. How many? 98. Obviously, I'm not going to deal with all of them today because all of them are related to particular concept. I cannot teach you everything. I cannot teach all 98 definitions today. Obviously, that is not practically possible, not logical also. When we will do business and profession, we'll learn business, we'll learn profession. When we'll do capital gains, we'll learn capital assets, right? When we'll do assessment procedure, we'll try to understand the meaning of assessment. It's a chapter specific discussion. So I'm not interested. I have taught you only one definition today, and that is definition of India. Apart from that, we have not done anything else. What is section 3? I am keeping this discussion on hold for some days. In this week only we'll come to this. But I don't want answer also from you. I am coming to the next section which is more important for me, and that is section 4. What is section 4 of income tax law? Any idea? Listen, it is charging section. Now, what do I mean by the term charging section? What do I mean by the term charge? What do I mean by charging section? Charging section means what? Charging section means some activities subject to which the tax can be imposed by the government. You have to do something in life if you want to get imposed by a tax. You have to do some activities here. Like example, why GST is imposed? Just because you are not doing anything. You have to do something. Why GST is imposed? You have to supply something. Supply means what? You have to manufacture, right? Or you have to provide service, right? Or you have to sell. You have to do either of the three things, not to impose GST. Yes or no? Similarly, why customs duty is applicable? It is not applicable unnecessarily. There has to be some event. That event is called as taxable event. This is called as what? Taxable event. And this event, if it is happening, then this tax will be imposed. Otherwise, this tax cannot be imposed. You have to do this event to get it taxed. Custom duty, why it will apply? You have to import something here. You have to import. Let's talk about some non-traditional taxes. Toll tax. Why toll tax is imposed? My vehicle is parked in the garage. Will toll tax be imposed on me? Obviously no. You have to travel through a toll, right or not? Then only toll tax can be imposed. That is an activity subject to which toll tax is imposed. Similarly, income tax. Why income tax is imposed? Because you have to what? Earn some income. Therefore, no taxation law is complete without a charging section. You have to say first, the government has to say first what is the activity that the taxpayer has to do to get it taxed. Unless and until that is very clearly mentioned in the law, you cannot go ahead. If the very first part of taxation law is, listen carefully, taxation law runs on a very important concept of LCC. What do I mean by L? L means, first of all, the government has to prove that the tax is levied on the assessee. C means what? Next is, once it is proved that it is levied, you have to compute. And then once it is computed, then the government can do what? Then government can collect. Are you able to understand that? This is the process of taxation law. Levy means what? Levy means chargeability. What is the condition subject to which tax can be charged? And for that purpose, we need to understand now section 4 of the income tax law, which talks about what? The charging section. And I'm writing the text of the charging section on the board. Please pay attention on the board, please, all of you. These are the 2 lines which we have to fulfill. Any person in this country who fulfills these 2 lines have to pay tax. They cannot be escaped. Total income of a person, listen carefully, of a person for a previous year shall be charged or assessed to tax in the assessment year. Just these 2 lines are there in this charging section. It's a very simple sentence. You as a student, you will feel that what is that? It's a very straightforward. There is no technical word in that. It's a very straightforward sentence. No, it's not like that. There are a lot of small things in this. Let me speak about one by one. What do I mean by total income? I need to identify that. I cannot generalize that. I need to see the income tax law section 2, right or not? Is it defined or not? Every word has to be first verified. Now, is it defined in the law or not? If it is defined, can I apply my general knowledge on that? Can I apply my general interpretation on that? I cannot do that. I have to apply as per the law only. If a definition is not there, then we'll see what to do. So total income. What is total income? I don't know. I'll see in a while. What do I mean by person? I don't know. I'll see in a while. What do I mean by previous year? We will see not in a while, maybe in next 1 or 2 lectures. What is assessment year? We'll see in next 1 or 2 lectures. What is charge or assessed to tax? We'll see today itself. Interpretation of these 5 points will complete the discussion of what chargeability under the income tax law. I'll go step by step. I'm not in a hurry. First of all, I'm interested in this line. What do I mean by charged or assessed? When is income tax assessed? In which year? In the assessment year, right? In the previous year, we are going to compute the income. But in the assessment year, we are going to pay the tax. Tax is what? Tax is a function of 2 things. When I say what is how tax is computed, tax is a function of 2 things. You multiply 2 things, you will get tax. What are those 2 things? One is total income and another is what? Rates of tax. We will decode each and everything step by step. I'll come to total income later on. First of all, I would like to talk about rates. Rates. Now I have a question to all of you because you also do articleship, you have done CA Inter also and little bit knowledge everybody has. From where will I get the income tax rates? I want to compute my income tax. Yes? There are 2 sources, Prashant.
One is the act itself, and the second is, I think, finance.
There are 2 sources. Excellent. Yes, one is there in the Relevant Finance Act. Relevant Finance Act. Okay. And another is that second source is the Income Tax Act itself. There are some rates which are mentioned in the Finance Act, some rates which are mentioned in the Income Tax Act. Now the question is why? Why not all of them are at the same place? Second question, how the classification is done? Which rates are mentioned in the Finance Act and which rates are mentioned in the Income Tax Act? So let me tell you first of all which rates are mentioned where, and then we'll come to the first question, that is why. Relevant Finance Act, person-based rates are mentioned here. Person-based rates. Your income-based rates mentioned are here. So what is the difference? The difference is of person and difference is of income. What is the difference? Let's talk about person-based rates. Person-based rates means individual is taxed at what rate, HUF is taxed at what rate, company is taxed at what rate, firm and LLP is taxed at what rate, HUF is, AOP, BOI, association of person, body of individual, cooperative society, trust, political parties, local authorities. These are different kind of persons. Do you agree? So their tax rates where we are going to get? In the Finance Act, Relevant Finance Act. Okay. What are income-based rates? These are based on incomes. Like lottery is taxed at 30%, right? Yes or no? Horse race, winning from horse race taxed at 30%, right? Next, if you earn some long-term capital gains, which is of stock market, it is taxed at how much rate? 10%. You may be aware, you may not be aware. Don't worry, we are going to do all of them. I'm just giving you an illustration. Now, where are these rates mentioned? Are they mentioned under the Finance Act? No, 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 no. They are mentioned under section 115BB. This is mentioned under section 112A and other section. So these are part of income tax law only. And these are given in the series of section 110 to section 115 BBH. If you go through this section, and this entire chapter is called as chapter 12 under the income tax law. Are you clear? If you go to chapter 12 of the Income Tax Act, you will only get what? Income-based rates. And if you want person-based rates, go to the Relevant Finance Act. Open the Finance Act. You will get that. Now the first question, why so? Why can't they keep everything at one place? Yeah, unnecessarily some here, some there. So much confusion, na? There is so much confusion, na, between us. For some rates we have to go there. For some rates we have to go there. For some there. For some there. Now it's a very, very clear logic. Listen carefully. Please see here, all of you. Please tell me, person-based rates. What do you feel? These person-based rates remain constant over the years or it changes frequently? It changes, right? Something which changes frequently. It is not correct to make a part of Income Tax Act because then every year we have to change the Income Tax Act, right? Yes or no? But coming to the income-based rates, lottery, 30%. When you were in CA Inter, at that time lottery was taxed at how much percentage? 30 only. Forget, don't think Palani, sorry. Even when I was doing my CA Inter, na Palani, at that time also it was 30%. So it is not changing since years and years. So something which is not changing over the years, let it be part of Act, yaar. Let it be part of Income Tax Act. Why to unnecessarily announce every year? Does it make sense to announce every year that by Finance Minister that lottery is 30%, lottery is 30%, lottery is 30%? Doesn't make sense, na? First of all, these incomes are not very common income. Everybody doesn't earn this income, right? Secondly, the rates of this income does not change every year. So that is the reason it is a part of Income Tax Act. Is it clear to everyone? Now, when I say relevant Finance Act, so we need to understand for our exam what is the relevant Finance Act. So your exams are in either May 2024 or November 24. It doesn't matter to me. For me, both the attempts are same only. For you all, the relevant Finance Act is Finance Act 2023. Okay. Practically speaking, when you will be giving exams, okay, one more Finance Act will be there in front of you, right? Practically, but don't consider that, ignore that blindly. Is it clear? You are not supposed to consider Finance Act 2024 for your exams. That is applicable for May 25, not for 24 exams. Okay. Finance Act 23 is the relevant Finance Act for us. Second question. With this Finance Act, we need to also decode today what is the previous year relevant for us for our exams, because it is important that as a student we are aware of our previous years. What is the assessment year applicable for our exam? Please answer, what is the previous year applicable to our exams? Can you say? Finance Act 2023 will be applicable to which financial year? 2023-24, and assessment year 2024-2025. Is it clear to everyone? Now, there is one more thing which we need to keep it in our mind, and that one more thing is what? Listen carefully. This is Finance Act 2023. Listen carefully, all of you, please. Suppose, listen, it's a very important point now. Suppose in this Finance Act, there are more than 80 amendments this year. There are a lot of amendments which are made this year. This year is highly amended year in income tax. Highly amended. Plethora of amendments are there in this year. Suppose some amendment came in this year which says that it is applicable from 1/4/2024. So there are a lot of confusion in the practical life. That amendment came in 23, then why it is written 24? What do I mean by this? I mean very simple thing, that this amendment is applicable from AY 2024-25, and that is nothing but PY 23-24 only. Are you clear? So most of the amendments are in respect of AY only, but there are some amendments which has nothing to do with AY and PY. I'll tell you, there are two types of amendments which are there. There are some amendments which has something to do with AY and PY, and there are some amendments which has nothing to do with AY, PY, like TDS amendments. TDS has nothing to do with AY, na? TDS activity happens when? In AY or in PY? TDS happens when? Tax is deducted in when? In PY only, na? So in that case, if the government says that this TDS section is applicable from 1st July 2023, then it is applicable from 1st July 2023 onwards only. Are you clear? Because that is a procedural section. Okay. So there are two types of provisions, amendments. If there is a computational amendment, then it will be applicable from AY because computation is done in AY. But if there is a procedural amendment, that from this date TDS rate has increased from 5% to 10%, then it is increased from that date only. Are you clear? Okay, so whenever such amendments will come, I'll highlight more on that. I'll focus on that. I'll focus on the dates, and I will let in books everywhere dates are mentioned from which date it is applicable. So we'll be having, once we see multiple provisions, now then we'll understand exactly what this concept is. Now, without looking at the provision, it will be difficult for me to explain this concept in a proper manner. Okay. Now, so this is what this Finance Act is relevant. This is what this previous year, this assessment year. Now, one more thing which is possible, that one amendment came in Finance Act 23. I am not speaking the amendment, I am just speaking the date, that this amendment is applicable from 1/4/2008. What do you mean by this? We are standing in 2023. The government is saying this is applicable from 2008. It means what? It means very clearly that this amendment is retrospectively applicable from what? AY 2008, 2009. Are you clear? So government has the power to even retrospectively amend any law. So once the government retrospectively amend any law, the old matters might also be affected because of that. Okay, is it clear? From 2008 till 2023-24. So this is what the discussion of rates of tax. See from where we have gone where to discuss only rates. Just try to understand. Okay, now coming back to the second part. Your 90% of IPCC, right? Your 90% of IPCC was regarding what? Total income. So my question to you all is, what is total income? I will tell you it is defined in section 245. My question to you all is, how it is defined? Can you please tell me? What do you mean by the term total income? According to you, what is total income? Whatever you want to say, you can say, you are free to answer. What is total income? Palani has said that all incomes under the 5 heads are total income. Okay, fine, but that is not a complete answer, Palani. Anything else? Anything better than this? Gross total income excluding the deductions under chapter 6A. Okay, your answer is correct but not complete. It's partially correct. I am asking you what is total income. You are answering how to compute total income. I am asking what. You are answering how. I am asking what is total income. It's a difficult question. You can only answer if you know the definition, or else you cannot answer. So yes, please. Yes, Prashant.
Definition wise, probably accretion to your net worth. I mean, logic wise.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, a systematic accretion to your net worth.
Okay. So let's see now. The definition of total income in section 2, clause 45 is divided into two parts. We need to analyze both the parts one by one. First, total income means an income. I'll put income in inverted commas because we have to come to income later on. As referred in section 5. And the second part of this definition is, and computed, let me write and then we'll discuss, and computed in the manner laid down in this act. So we'll talk about the left hand side, this part first. Total income means an income as referred to in section 5. Now you will definitely ask me what is section 5, right? Or you might know also. So what is section 5? This is one of the most hot favorite topics of yours in CA Inter. I'll tell the name. That is the scope of total income. Do you remember that you used to make 3 columns? Resident and ordinary resident, resident and not ordinary resident, non-resident. Do you remember that? And then we used to say that for ordinary resident, world income is taxable. Agreed? And for non-residents, only incomes which are accrued or deemed to accrue or receive or deemed to receive in India. Agreed? Now, that is the reason, listen carefully. When I asked you now, very minute point, very important concept to understand the subject in a proper manner. When I asked you what is total income, you told me salary, house property, capital gains, IFOS, BGBP, deductions. That is correct. But don't you think before computing that we need to first of all find out whether the assessee's income comes within the scope or not? Don't you think whether it comes within the scope or not, we should think on that area first before computing? Like for example, there is a non-resident who is staying in UK and is earning income in UK, is earning salary in UK. Does Indian government has any right to take tax from him? A UK person staying in UK, earning money over there, receiving money over there, does Indian government, is he also earning salary?
Yes.
Yes. But does that mean that you will earn salary in the entire world, then it is yours? No. Therefore, the scope of taxability depends upon two factors. Which two factors? First is residential status and second is accrual and receipt. Are you clear? If you are ordinary resident now, if you are an ordinary resident, then this doesn't matter. Do you agree? Then it doesn't matter whether it is accrued in India or accrued in UK or accrued in Singapore or accrued in Malaysia, because for an ordinary resident, world income is taxable. But if you are a non-resident, then only two types of income are taxable in India. Either it has to be accrued in India or either it has to be received in India. Therefore, the government says that total income will obviously include only those incomes, first of all, which should come as a part of what? The scope of total income in India. Are you clear? Obviously, we are going to learn in great detail the residential status, which you have done it in CA Inter. That is 60 plus 365, 182 days, 730 days, 7 years. All those things are part of syllabus. Very important is in CA final also. We are going to do. Obviously, we are going to do the definition of accrual, deemed accrual. What do I mean by deemed to accrue arise in India? It's in great detail. It's a part of CA final syllabus, which will come in the later half of the syllabus, that is international taxation. But the point I'm trying to say is, when somebody asks you what is total income, never ever say that 5 heads of income. That is how you compute. But first, before that, you need to understand what to compute. What to compute? Do we have the right to compute all the salaries, all the PGBPs, all the capital gains, all the IFOs, all the house property of the entire world, irrespective of the residential status? Do we have that right? We don't have that right. So we need to bring the taxability within the scope first, and then you compute what? Then you compute the income. For compute, you have to do first of all what? Classification, right? Of the income into various heads. How many heads are there? 5 heads are there, starting from salary and ending with other source, right? And then there are certain other things also, like set off. Set off is also important to compute income. Set off and carry forward. Is it a part of computation? Then is clubbing of income also part of computation? And after that, I don't want to speak much on that. After that, you get gross total income, right? And from the gross total income, you will compute what? You will take your chapter 6 deductions, correct? And after that, what you will get? You will get your magical number. That is your total income, on which you will apply what? Please say tax rates. Are you clear? So your majority of CA Inter was this line. Do you agree or not? Total income into rates. 5 heads, set off, carry forward, chapter 6 tax rate. 90% CA Inter completed, right? But CA final is way beyond that. It is not only about 5 heads or it is not only about tax rates. It is way beyond that. No doubt 5 heads are important. No doubt tax rates are important. No doubt set off, carry forward also to some extent important. But this is not the exhaustive syllabus. There are a lot of things beyond this also in CA final. So is everyone clear with the definition of total income? First of all, tell me that, please.
Yes, sir.
Is it clear? Palani? Now, coming back to the total income definition, I asked you, is it clear or not? Because I want to go further in depth of this definition. That is the reason I asked you once. Now, I want to do further discussion on this definition. There is something which is I am missing over here, which I want to target now. Sir, what is total income? Total income means an income. Means an income. So the question will come to my mind, and it should also come to your mind also. That what do you mean by the term income then? The name of the law itself is what? The Income Tax Act 1961. The very important word in the law is income. Yes or no? So we are going to do a now interactive discussion, because we have to do interactive discussion over here. Otherwise, we will not understand the concept and the logic of the income. I am asking you, what is the meaning of income according to you? According to you, a common language. I want a common answer from you. I don't want technical words. I don't want jargons. I don't want technical. I want simple words definition from you. Please. If you can speak, it is better rather than writing.
What we earn, what we earn,
Yes, Vignesh, please.
what we earn is
What we earn is income. Okay.
yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else? Slightly specific, Vignesh. Your definition is very general. What we earn is income. But still, I am not saying you are wrong. You are correct at your end. Anything else? Yes, Prashant.
I would say what I said earlier, that accretion to one's net worth.
Accretion to one's net worth is income. Okay. Fine. Pilani.
Whatever you receive, sir, that's it. Whatever receive as
Whatever we receive is income according to you. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Saddam.
Sir, all inflows are income, but
All inflows are income. There are 4 people over there who have given all other rest of them are not ready to come on video. It's okay. So all of them have given different answers. All of them are correct at your end. I'm not saying you all are incorrect. All of them are correct. Everybody is correct. The reason I'm saying the meaning of income is not there under the income tax law. Income tax law is very reluctant to give the meaning of the income. They are not ready to give the meaning of income. They are absolutely not ready. I would like to ask you some questions. Parani, please come, because it's an important part of this discussion. I am giving 1 or 2 examples in front of you. Out of context examples, you will feel that it is out of context, but when we will connect with the provision, you will not feel it is out of context. Meaning is not defined under the income tax law. Nobody knows what is income. Even today, it is not defined. Not defined. Meaning is not there. Suppose there is a guy, listen carefully, please. There is a guy who wants to get married. So he goes to a girl's house to see a girl. So the girl parents is asking the guy, what is your income? What can he say as an answer?
the salary,
He might be doing a job, so he's earning some salary, right, Siddha? Or he might be doing some business, right? Or he is rich by inheritance, so he has a lot of properties, right? So he might be earning rental incomes. These are the only sources of income which a person will say. Yaar. But this person, this guy gives a very strange answer. Listen to me. He says that for my living, I buy lottery, and if I win, then I eat. If I don't win, then I sleep like this only. Can a person say that this is my income? See, don't answer, please. Let one disclaimer which I want to put in front of you. Keep this disclaimer in your mind. Don't answer my question considering what is the knowledge of income tax which you have from CA Inter. As per CA Inter, you know that lottery is income, right? Which is taxable at 30%. I am not asking as per CA. I am asking as per common parlance, as per general terminology. Can I say that my income is lottery? Or can I say,
No, sir.
if a girl's father asks me, what do you earn, guy? I am saying that I get some gifts from my friends. And whenever I get the gift from my friends, and that I use for my living. Can I say, I agree that. You also know that taking gift is taxable. Yes or no? But I'm not asking in the context of income tax. I'm asking in context of general terminology. Is it income or not? What do you feel?
No, sir.
It's not an income. Now, because the government is not ready to give us the meaning, what shall we do then? Go to dictionary then. Yes or no? If a particular term is not defined in the law, you have to apply the general meaning or not. If the law has to give a specific meaning, they will give it. If they are not giving any specific meaning, I have to apply my general meaning. So what is the general meaning? Listen carefully means, listen carefully, please. As per dictionary, even you can Google it if you want. Okay. What do you mean by income? Income means, as per general terminology, something which is revenue in nature. What? Something which is revenue in nature. Something which has a definite source. Something which has a definite source. That is income. Like for example, listen carefully. Salary is income because it's revenue. It has a definite source of employment. Profits is income because it's a definite source of business. Interest is income. Dividend income is a definite source of investments. Rental is income because there is a definite source of property. Yes or no? Lottery is not an income, yaar. Income means something which is revenue, which is definite in source. Income does not mean something which is a windfall gain. Windfall gain means something which comes once in a while. Doesn't occur again and again. Therefore, the government of India also intend to tax only incomes. In 1961, when the law was drafted and it was introduced, the intention of the government was very clear that we want to charge only what? Please say. Only real incomes, and real incomes are those incomes which are revenue in nature, which are definite. We are not intending to charge gift taxation. Are you clear? We are not intending to charge subsidies. Subsidies are once in a while gain. It's a windfall gain. It's a capital receipt. We are not intending to charge that. We are only intending, listen to carefully the flow of the discussion. Please, very, very important discussion it is. This is the very foundation of the entire subject. Because unless and until you appreciate the definition of income, you will not be able to understand income tax law ever properly. Unless and until you understand why income is like this and how the government has changed the things over the period of time. So the intention of the government is very clear. In 1961, the government said very clearly, we intend to charge only those incomes which are real in nature, real in nature, real. Real means which are revenue in nature. In reality, which a person can say as income, only that can be taxed as an income. Like salary, like profits, like dividends, like interest, like rental incomes, like capital gains. All these things are incomes. Okay, the intention of the government was very clear. Then what happened? Suppose I'm making two axes. This is x axis. This is y axis. X axis is income and y axis is rate of tax. Listen carefully, please. Income means what? Income means real incomes. Something which is revenue in nature, something which is a definite source, something which is not a capital receipt, something which is not a windfall gain. Okay. Now suppose the tax rate which is kept by the government in 1960s is 30%. Now the government wants more revenue. What will they do? What is an easy way to do? Please tell me. Easy way. Very lethargic government. What will they do? Increase the rate. They increase the rate to 40%. The base is very small. The base is very small because base includes only what kind of incomes? Only real income. So it is very, very, very small here. There is nothing in the base. Hardly few incomes are taxable. So they started increasing the rate. 40%. People paid 40%. They increased the rate 50%. People paid 50% also. They increased the rate 60%. And do you imagine where it went and where it ended? Do you imagine where it went once upon a time in independent India, and till what percentage it went? Any idea?
Heard like 90%. I'm not sure, but I
Palani, any idea? No idea? Saddam? Vignesh?
no, sir.
No idea. You will definitely Google after I say. I know that. You will do that. If not right now, after the lecture. It was in 1973. It was 97.75% income tax rate. How much? 98% almost. There is no motivation to come to the lecture and take a lecture. There is no motivation at your end also to listen to the lectures, right? If you have to pay 98% of your income as income tax. Obviously, people will pay or they will not pay. Nobody is going to pay such a. Put it in jail. We are ready to go to jail. Let's see how much capacity you have to put in jail. So many people. Let's see. We are not ready to pay so much tax. People agitated like anything. They did not pay. Obviously, how can a person pay 98% of his income as tax? Then the government said that, government understood that, yeah, it is wrong to increase. We don't have to be lethargic. We need to be intelligent, right or not?
Yes, sir.
We cannot keep such high tax rates in India. So they started reducing the tax rates. And then they started increasing the tax base. They said that we will define income in an inclusive manner. Listen carefully, a very important discussion for the entire subject foundation it is. They defined income. It was there since very beginning, but they expanded the base of the definition. The definition of income is given in section 224, but still they are not saying the meaning in 2023-24 also. They have given the definition in what manner? Inclusive manner. Inclusive manner means what? Income includes this, income includes this, income includes this, income includes this, income includes this. Okay, so like that they increase the base. They have increased the base to such an extent that now in the section 2 clause 24 there are 31 different kind of clauses. How many? 31, not 1 or 2. Not 1 or 2. 31 different kind of incomes, which includes revenue receipts also, which includes what? Capital receipts also. Now, can capital receipts be subject to tax because the government has defined separately in section 224? Yes, it can be charged. Yes, it can be charged. So then the government included lottery also, gift also, so on and so forth. For gift though, there is an extraordinary reason to bring the taxation of gift as a part of income tax law.
I used to pay 50% taxes in Luxembourg.
50% tax in Luxembourg, right? But Prashant, but Prashant, I would say, used to stay over there. But Prashant, I would say that at least you would get the benefits also, na?
The benefits were there, of course, but that is a developed country, and now with all the reforms, India is headed in the same direction. I mean, the entire world is surprised how corruption levels have reduced to such an extent. If this process goes on, but there's going to be a huge amount of resistance. I don't want
Right.
to like sway away from the topic here, but if this resistance is not there, then I mean, all my friends back in Europe and the US, they are like, in 25 to 30 years, everything will then reach to the common.
Right. Correct.
Used to,
But the population is a problem in India. It's not that easy. So,
there were, I mean, if you have 140 crore stomachs, you also have 380 or 280 hands, so and brains. So if you have the system in place, then
correct.
but it's a long shot. I mean,
Right. We may not be able to see that. Don't worry. It's difficult for us to see that period.
actually, we can be. Surprisingly, right now the government is hell determined to change the course of history and future.
Right.
Anyhow, I won't sway off topic.
Okay. So, how they increase the base of the income? They started including all unnecessary things in the definition of income, like lottery, like this, like subsidy, etc., etc. How the department's mind work, huh? How the government's mind work? There is a prime minister, there is a finance minister. The finance minister will say to CBDT that this is our target for next year. We want 15 lakh crore income tax. Now go to hell and get whichever way you can. It is your duty. We want 15 lakh crore target is next year. Now what CBDT will do? CBDT will tell to the committee that make amendments in law. Last year's target was 12 lakhs. We were able to achieve 11.5 lakhs crore. This year the madam has further increased the target to 15 lakhs, 15 lakh crore. Make some amendments, whatever you can do, but we have to reach to this target. So now suppose I'm just giving an example. So now the committee is targeting say subsidy. So prior to 2015, subsidy was not taxable in India. Okay. Any kind of subsidy which you receive from the government was not a part of income. It was not a part of income only. So the government CBDT had an eye on the subsidy ka volume. They saw that the amount of subsidy in one financial year which is given by various governments, that is various central and state governments, is approximately 10 lakh crore. If that is 10 lakh crore, why not target subsidy? We'll get 3 lakh crore in one shot as 30% tax. Are you able to understand that or not? So this is how they plan the things at big level. Obviously, when they bring such big amendments, they also have to face the backlash from the industry. So they might give some temporary relaxations to some cases. They might bring some notifications in some cases. But this is how they try to target that particular base. I'll just show you how big is the base today. When you see the income tax law, section 224, I'm obviously not getting into the definition of income. We'll be doing that with the respective topic. When we learn PGBP, we'll talk about profits and gains. When we learn about IFOs, we'll talk about dividends. So you can see now profits and gains is income, dividend is income. Now even voluntary contribution is also income. Voluntary contribution means donations. Some special allowance is also income. Some deemed profits are also income. Winning from lottery, etc. is income anyways, that we know. Then if you come over here, there is some subsidy, grant received from the government. That is also income. This was added in 2015. Then they have further increased the base in 2023. See, this year they have increased 2 more items. We will be able to discuss all of them with the relevant topic. Some business trust discussion is there, some insurance policy. I don't know whether you are aware of that or not, but this budget they have brought, which is a very important amendment for us. We have to learn that in great detail. There are some practical questions also which I have put, that for big short people who are paying a life insurance premium of more than 5 lakh rupees a year. How much? I hope you are aware of that life insurance policy was exempt on maturity. Yes or no? Subject to some conditions. Yes, but now they have made some amendment to increase the base. What is that amendment? That if you are a big short, if you are paying more than 5 lakh rupees of premium in a life insurance policy, and if you receive the money on maturity, it will be taxable now. It will be taxable. So a person who is paying more than 5 lakh rupees a premium in life insurance is obviously a rich person. He cannot be a middle class. A middle class will not invest 5 lakh rupees premium in what? In a life insurance. 5 lakh rupees premium means the cover is too huge. Yes or no? It's too huge. Therefore, they are targeting such kind of people. Like similarly, this year you might be knowing that one more amendment came. We are going to do all of them. I'm just trying to explain you how the government tried to increase the base. This year the government said that we are going to, generally what happens when you sell one residential house property and if you buy another residential house property within a time frame, then the capital gain is exempt, right? But that exemption is restricted to now 10 crore. It cannot be more than 10 crore. So for example, earlier what used to happen, suppose if Shah Rukh Khan sells his house in 500 crore and buys another house in 600 crore. His entire capital gain used to be exempt because he's selling one house, buying another house. But now Shah Rukh Khan's capital gain will be exempt only up to 10 crore. Rest of the amount will be subject to tax. So this is how they try to increase the base. And they know that which area can generate how much revenue, and accordingly we can fulfill our what target which is given by the finance minister. Okay, coming back to the discussion which I was doing over here. So they have increased the base rather than increasing the rate. Gift, how gift became a part of income tax law? It's a very interesting story. Approximately 17, 18 years back, there was a politician from Uttar Pradesh, a lady politician. I don't have to take a name. If I say a lady politician from Uttar Pradesh, you might be knowing if you have some interest in politics. Okay. Yeah. She was having a birthday. She was about to have a birthday in the next week, for example. Okay. So she called all her party workers and she told that we want to celebrate my birthday in the next week. So you put all the hoardings and all everywhere. Generally it happens for all the politicians. And you are going to take some 200 crores from that particular room, cash, and 1000 rupee note was there at that time. Okay. So you'll make a garland, that is which a person wears, of that 1000 rupee note. Okay. You all are going to make that 1000 rupee note garland, and on my birthday, one by one people will come and will make me wear. Okay. So they asked if income tax department comes, then we will say that our well wishers have given that as a gift to us. Okay. They are well wisher, na? They are well wisher only. Then if income tax department comes, we will say our well wisher will come. They have come to us and they have given us gift on account of our birthday. You don't worry about that. I will take care of the income tax department. Like that, you just Google if you want after some time, Mayawati garland. You will come to know. Accidentally, I took her name also. Sorry. I was not.
1 month back with that unfortunate Balasore.
Yes.
Another West Bengal lady high authority.
Yes. Let's not take the name. Let's not take the name. We are not supposed to be politically motivated over here in direct tax lectures. But ultimately, politics comes over here because everything is a ultimate effect is politics only, na?
3 months, 4 months. I mean, I've been completely apolitical my entire life.
Okay.
Here, left, right, Republic, Democratic, nothing, nothing. But the last 4-5 months.
Stay away from all these things, Prashant. Stay away from.
It's consumed.
No. Stay away from all these things. All these things are useless. Yes, it's focus on your career. Focus on that is more important. No. Stay away from all those things. So the point I was trying to say was, she told to her party workers that you will come and make me wear. One garland was worth around 22 crore rupees. Huh? One garland, 22 crore rupees. It was such a big garland that entire room will be not sufficient to. There were around 5 to 6 people who are holding that garland, one garland. Like that, they converted crores and crores of money into white from black. When income tax department asked them from where you have got that, so she said, our well wishers have given it. Well wishers can't give money or what to me? My well wishers are also rich, yeah. They are not poor. But where to find out those well wishers in lakhs of people? It's not possible to find out, na. Those well wishers in lakhs of people at that time, CCTV concept was also not there. Technology was not that into great position. So then income tax department came up with an amendment immediately in the next year in Finance Act 2005 or 2006. Earlier gift was not taxable. It came in 2005. And income tax department said that the rest is history. You know that what is the provision of gift now. How much money you can take in the form of gift in a financial year? Please tell me. Only 50,000, not beyond 50. If you take beyond 50, it is income from other source, right?
Yes, sir.
So it is income from other source. So like this, they have increased the base. Some of the reasons to increase the base is to reduce tax evasion, like this one tax evasion case, right? Some of the reason to increase the tax base because they want to collect more revenue. So this is what the definition of income is all about. So can I say that income, just I am putting few things about income. Income is yet not defined. Can I say this? Meaning wise, can I say yet income? We don't know what is income in 2023-24 also. Can I say this? We don't know the meaning of income. Can I say this as per income tax law? As per income tax law, we don't know. Correct? But do we have an inclusive list?
Yes, sir.
Yes. What does this inclusive list signifies? Whatever is mentioned in this, is it income?
Yes, sir.
But one more thing it signifies, whatever is not mentioned, but something similar to what is mentioned, can that also be income? This is the beauty of inclusive definition. Inclusive definition is not exhaustive in nature. It is just an illustrative list, somewhat similar to what is already mentioned, somewhat similar to what is given in 31 clauses, can also be part of income. Now that is supposed to what? Litigation. That will lead to what? Litigation. You will say as an assessee that it is not income. Department will say what? It is income. Go to court, fight. Judge will interpret yes or no. And this is the drama which is going to happen in the entire income tax law. And this happens at the level of interpretation. So this is what the definition of income is all about. So what we'll do now, we will just read through whatever we have done so far today. Okay, so that we come to know what exactly we are doing and whether it is there in the books or not, because ultimately if it is not there in the book, what sense does it make of all this bhashan without being mentioned in the books? Because whatever we learn, it has to be mentioned in the book in a precise manner. Okay, so all of you come to this particular page. You can watch from the board itself. You need not have to open your mobile phones again. You'll get your books in the next 3-4 days. Don't worry, we have already dispatched. I guess you might have got the notification also that the books are dispatched. Okay, so the Income Tax Act 1961, I am reading the things from here. Introduction. As per Article 265 of the Constitution, no law can be made to impose duties and taxes unless the Constitution gives the power. Correct? Constitution has to give the power, then only the law can be made. The 7th schedule to the Constitution, it is segregated into following 3 lists. There are 3 lists over here, we all know that. Union list. This covers revenue as well as non-revenue matters from entry number 1 to 96 as specific entry, right? And entry number 97 is what? To impose taxes and duties on those matters which are not enumerated in the above 96 entries, correct? Now, the right to make income tax act comes from entry number 82. This is something which we need to remember, which states that income tax can be imposed by central government on any income except the agricultural income. Okay. Now I have a question to you all. Central government does not have a power to impose tax on agriculture income. Can state government impose if they want to? If they want to impose, can state government impose? Please say. The answer is yes. The government has not restricted the state government to impose, even though state government does not impose that, because that is not correct, right? That is not correct to impose taxes on farmers here. But state government has power. If sometimes state government feels that the farmers in our state are earning a lot of money here, let's impose tax on them, state government can impose. Like the farmers in Punjab and Haryana earns a lot of money here. There are a lot of people in Haryana and Punjab who earns lot of money from agricultural income. I am not saying all of them, but many of them. And if you see, the maximum registration of cars, of luxury cars in India is happening in Punjab and Haryana only. BMW, Mercedes, all these things are maximum. In maximum of the case, it is getting registered in those states only. All agriculture income, tax free. Anyways, next, the above entries include both revenue as well as non-revenue matter. As far as the income tax is considered, it is a revenue matter, and therefore it should be first laid down in what? In the lower house, that is Lok Sabha, and then upper house, that is what? Rajya Sabha. Is it clear? Now, state list. This covers the matter related to state government, that is stamp duty. I have told you. This list does not have any residuary entry. Remember now, this is the important point. This residuary entry is only there in what? In the union list. It is not there in the state list. In state list, there is only specific entry. It means if any new small taxes has to be imposed, it can be imposed only by which government? Only by the central government. State government cannot impose. Why? Because there is no residuary entry in the state list. Therefore, any new taxes or duties which has to be imposed must be imposed through entry 97 given in union list. Example STT, CTT, all these examples I have given you. Health and education cess. Further, these will be imposed through relevant finance act. There will be no separate act for these small taxes and cess. Concurrent list which covers both the government, example octroi duty, revenue matter, education and non-revenue matter. Let me give you an example. Education. Education is a non-revenue matter, right? It's not a revenue matter, na? Who decides the syllabus of students, of schools? State government, right? Does central government also decide? Yes, for CBSE board, ICSE board, right? So there are two types of boards now. One is local boards, Kerala board, Tamil Nadu board, Maharashtra board. That is this. So education is a concurrent matter. Do you agree? Which is covered in concurrent list. If you want to see in constitution where is education mentioned, you have to go to the concurrent list. So you'll find out over there. Okay. Now, once the power has been established through the constitution, the act can be made by the government through parliamentary process, which I have told you, you have to make a draft, etc. An act always comes below constitution and it is divided into chapter 23 chapters and section 298 sections. The rules are made by central government, will follow the act, and therefore the rules can never override the act but should be consistent with it. The power to make rules under the Income Tax Act is given in section 295. Is it clear? Whatever we have done in class, you will find out everything in the same flow. Nothing will go here and there. Don't worry about it. Then we came to the Income Tax Act 1961. The first section of every act is short title, extent, applicability and commencement, right? Applicability is 1962. Applicable to whole of India. India includes landmass, correct? Then territorial waters up to 12 nautical miles, correct? And then the airspace above both of them. Is it fine? Then exclusive economic zone up to 200 nautical miles for certain activities which the government will notify, right? Then coming to the charging section. Section 4 is the charging section. Section 2 and 3 we have not done. We will be doing later. Total income we have done today. Have we done total income? Yes. Let's talk about person. Okay. Let's talk about person also. Because tax ultimately will be paid by whom? By person only, na? So who is person, sir? Person is defined here in section 231. The term person is important as the charge of income tax is on every person. What does person includes? See the persons properly, please. This is specific person, individual. This is specific person, HUF. Then company. Then firm. Firm will also include LLP. Okay. For the purpose of income tax law, firm includes LLP. Then association of person, body of individual. Then local authority. Local authority means what? Your municipality authorities which are there in your state. Okay. Or gram panchayat, zilla parishad. If you are staying in a village, then there is no municipality concept. There is a gram panchayat. There is a panchayat concept over there. And last one, this one is a general point. Who will come in this? Can you please name some of them? Please name some of them who can come in artificial juridical person. Universities can come, right? Apart from that, then cooperative societies, trust can come, right or not? Anybody who does not fall over here will fall over there. Is it clear? So these are 6 specific categories. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a general category. Okay. All of them are liable to pay tax in India. If they earn income, obviously, they have to earn income. So total income of a person for a previous year is charged or assessed to tax in the next AY. The event of computation is always done in AY by assessing himself, known as what? Self-assessment. You have to first compute. Income tax is total income into tax rate. For rates, there are 2 sources. Relevant Finance Act, person-based rate. Income Tax Act for certain special incomes. Okay. Then, what is the Relevant Finance Act for our exam? 2023. The Income Tax Act is generally made with reference to AY. The relevant Finance Act for previous year 23-24 will be Finance Act 23, which was passed last year. If an assessee stands in the AY and sees back. Are you understanding this line? So if you stand in AY, which Finance Act you will follow? The last year's. Like while filing the return now, when you are going to file the return now, which Finance Act you are going to follow? Which was passed in the last year, that is 2022. Therefore, the assessee has to stand in AY and see which finance bill was passed last year. Therefore, most of the amendments are made with reference to AY. Therefore, in Finance Act 2023, if an amendment states that it is applicable with effect from what? 1/4/2024. It means that it is applicable from AY 24-25, PY 23-24. Further, if some amendments are retrospective, it says that 1/4/2013. Then it means what? It is applicable from AY 13-14. Are you clear? That is PY 12-13. Okay. Then coming to the definition of income. Income means, total income means what? An income which is referred in section 5, correct? And computed in the manner laid down in this act. So there are two parts. This was the first part and this was the second part. Agreed? What is mentioned in section 5? Section 5 talks about scope of total income. For resident and ordinary resident, world income is taxable. For non-resident, only incomes which are taxable in India, which are either what? Either has to be accrue or deemed to accrue or arise in India, or which are received in India. Okay. And last but not least, once this is established that income comes within the purview of section 5, then you have to what? Compute in the manner laid down in this act. You have to compute in the manner laid down. And this is the computation. First salary, then HP, then PG, business and profession, then capital gains, then income from others, so then clubbing, then set off carry forward, and then deductions. Okay. This is the range of sections. Here you might have some confusion. Salary starts from section 15, ends on 17. Then house property directly starts from 22. In between, there are 4 sections which are missing. 18, 19, 20, 21. Can you see that? Those are omitted. Omitted means not omitted from syllabus. Omitted from the act itself. Okay, it was relevant earlier, now it is not relevant. Then 28 to 44, it is business and profession. 45 to 55, it is your income from capital gains. Then other source. Then clubbing, then set off, and then your master deduction, chapter 6A. Now, all these things, this chapter 6A is more or less irrelevant from this year onwards. The reason I am trying to say is, you might be knowing that the government has made an amendment that by default everybody has to go in the new regime. Are you aware of that? By default regime is new regime. And in the new regime, chapter 6A deductions are not available. ATC, ATD, all these things are not available. Some of them are available. That's it. 2, 3 chapter 6A available. Rest of them they have not. We'll be talking about that later. Don't worry. Then comes to the most important discussion of today. That is, what is income? What is this discussion came from here. When we say total income means income, then we have to answer what is income. The term income in general terminology means something which is a real income. Something which is regular in nature. It is derived from a definite source. This theory is called as what? Real income theory, which was the base to draft the Income Tax Act. Salary is an income. Why it is an income? Because it is derived from a source, that is employment. Rental is an income. Why it is an income? Because it is derived from house property. Profits and gains in income, because it is derived from business and profession. A source is there. Interest, dividend, capital gain is an income because it is derived from a source of investment. Now listen very carefully and don't get confused over here. Otherwise you will say, sir, it is written wrong in the book. We are understanding the flow of the chapter. We have not reached to the conclusion. This is the process to reach to conclusion. Therefore, this paragraph is not wrong. Listen carefully. Therefore, we conclude that lottery winning, crossword, puzzle, gift, non-compete fees, etc. are not income in real sense. Do you agree? But don't say they are not income only. As per income tax, it is income. In real sense, it is not, as they are not regular in nature. And therefore, to expand the base of income tax, the central government slowly and gradually started amending the definition of income given under 224 to incorporate what? To incorporate what? Capital receipts, artificial income, instead of increasing what? The rates of the income tax. It doesn't make sense to increase the rate, because if the government increases the rate, it comes to the eyes of every common man. Yes or no? So it doesn't make sense. since 2014, since this new government has come, till 2023-24, tax rates have not increased for individuals. In fact, it has relaxed only. In 2014, the basic exemption limit was 2,50,000. And there was no rebate at that time. No rebate for anyone. Like right now, there is a rebate, not under 87A. There was no rebate at that time. But today, the tax rates are relaxed. It has become 5%, earlier it was 10%. The basic exemption limit is increased. The rebate limit is substantially increased in the new regime. With all these things, the tax collection has been increased more than twice. In 2014, the tax collection was around 5.5 lakh crore. Now it is approximately 13 to 14 lakh crore. With all these things, even by reducing the rate, even by increasing the relaxations, the tax base has been increased to some or the other way. So this is what, obviously the businesses have also grown in the last 7 to 8 years. That might also contribute to the increase in tax, because if the companies are earning more profits, obviously they are bound to pay more taxes also. Okay. So this is what this definition of income is all about. And then this is long definition. We'll be doing all those things. Don't worry. We will be doing all those things step by step. As and when a respective topic will come, we'll be talking about that. Okay. Now, one last thing for today's session. After that, we'll conclude today's lecture. Once we know that what we are earning is what is income. Once we are aware that what we are earning is income, from where we will come to know? You have to do an analysis of section 224. If you fall in this section, then it is income. If you do not fall in this section, there is no tax. Okay. So assume that we fall in this section. What is the next step that a person has to do? The next step which a person has to do is classification of income, right? Are we supposed to do that or not? We cannot directly jump to computation, na? We cannot do that. We have to do classification. A proper classification is must. Without a proper classification, you will not be able to do proper computation. Wrong classification would lead to wrong computation and would lead to ultimately wrong tax liability, and you can invite department's notice at your end. Proper classification is absolutely necessary. So income is divided into 5 heads. Let's have a conversation now. Why? What is the need? What is the need to divide income into all these things, sir? Make it simple now. One income, one nation, one income. Why deductions are different? That's what it came back to the same question. Why? Why there is a need to keep different deductions for different heads?
The nature, as per the definition of income, its nature differs based on the character of that income. So correspondingly, the deduction would also depend on.
But why we want to keep it separate deductions for separate? Give now one flat 40% deduction for everyone.
Rate might be different.
Yes, Saddam, please.
Because the rate might be different.
Okay. Anything else?
Persons are different. So salary people are different, capital earning people are different. So these are big people, these are small people. There will be differentiation.
So for big people, we should give more deduction, or for small people, we should give more deduction? पता नहीं?
Nature of the income differs. So accordingly, as per the nature, the logical deductions of that nature would also differ. Like if you're doing business, you'd have different kinds of expenses.
Okay.
The nature of your expenses.
So Prashant is saying, depending upon the nature of the business, the nature of the income, the deduction differs. Okay, Palani, I'll come back to you. You were saying, I forgot what you were saying.
Income they earn. Salary people may be small group of, big group of people earning small incomes. Capital may be small group of people earning bigger incomes.
Okay. Is it really needed to classify? Is it correct according to you?
Yes, sir.
Or we can keep it one single income?
It's useful for easy administration, sir.
Okay. For easy administration also it is important. Don't you feel that depending upon the head of income, government decides that which is more important for the economy? Don't you feel?
Yes.
For example, salary, house property, business and profession, capital gains, IFOs. What do you feel? Which is the most important head for the government?
Now, the business profession.
It's always, Prashant. It's always, not now. It's always. It's always. It has to be that. Otherwise, the government is not thinking properly. Which is the most important head? Which the government should promote most?
I always used to feel envious of BNP guys.
Yes, you should be. Because BNP guys enjoy a lot of benefits, deductions. Just now I bought a car. I'm going to take a lot of benefits on that car. Lot of depreciations and lot of insurance and lot and fuel cost. All these things are not available to a salaried employee, right? Yes or no? My 50% of my car actually will become free because of the tax benefits. Because of the tax benefits. Because first of all, the depreciation only I will get. So depending upon the head, obviously the most important head is this one. If this is there now, then rest of them will survive. Otherwise, none of them will survive. Agreed or not? If there are no businesses only in this country, who will give you employment? If there is no employment only, from where the hell you will do saving to earn passive income? Right or not? From where you will earn income to invest in rental properties? Right? Therefore, this is the most important head for the government. Not only from the perspective of tax, employment generation, exports, foreign currency. For many factors, business is the most important thing. Therefore, if you see, this head has maximum tax deductions or not under the income tax law. Maximum tax deductions are over year only, right? And where is the minimum? Prashant will say it is salaried. You hardly get any deduction under salary. What is deduction under salary? It is 50,000 rupees, some standard deduction which they give as if they are doing some favor on us, right? And then some professional tax, that is useless amount, 2,500 rupees, right? And then some, I don't think so anything else is there apart from that. For government employees, they give some entertainment allowance benefit. Apart from that, there is no great benefit. Some small exemptions are there of HRA, all those things. Somewhere it is 20,000, somewhere it is 30,000, somewhere it is 60,000, not more than that. Apart from that, rest of the salary has to be paid at tax at slab rate of 30% if you are earning more than a limit. So there are no great benefit to given to the salary. Why? Because you are not ready to take risk also. Risk is taken by these people, so we will give benefit also to these people. You people are not taking any risk, so then why the government is going to benefit you? They are not going to benefit. Based on this, government has divided all the heads and they can never ever merge all of them. They cannot see all of them with the same glass. They cannot do that. They have to keep it separate. Therefore, everybody as an assessee, everybody would like to go where? As Prashant said, he would like to go over here. Yes or no? But whether you will go over here or here or here or here or here, it doesn't depend upon your choice. It depends upon what? The chargeability. What kind of chargeability? We are learning now the second chargeability. Obviously, we are going to learn tomorrow. I'm just introducing today. Every head first section, every heads first section. Please tell me first section of salary. 15. First section of HP. 22. First section of business and profession. 28. First section of capital gains. First section of IFOs. 56. Right? First section of every head will tell you when you will come under that head. Are you clear? Like house property. You might have done it in CA Inter. House property. What does house property says? First section. The assessee should be the owner of the building. Yes? The building should be land or appurtenant thereto. Right? And it should not be used for the purpose of business and profession. Then you will come under the head house property. What about salary? There has to be an employer and employee relationship. Then it is covered under what? Income from salary. Are you clear? Similarly, for business and profession, you have to do business or profession, you have to earn profits, etc., etc. For capital gains, you have to transfer some capital. There are conditions mentioned in every charging section. The first section of every head talks about the charging section of that head. One is a master charging section, section 4. That talks about what? Whether you are chargeable to income tax or not. Are you clear? And once you know that you are chargeable to income tax law, then you will come to this secondary charging section, which will help you in what? In classifying the income in a proper head. Because there are a lot of times whereby the department sends you a notice and tells you everything is correct, but you have classified the income under wrong head. And wrong head would lead to what? Wrong computation. And wrong computation would lead to wrong tax liability. Ultimately, you have to pay what? Tax, interest, penalty, etc. Therefore, having correct classification is absolutely must. And you guys might be feeling it's very simple to classify an income. Okay. So what is great in that, sir? There's nothing great in classifying income. Let me ask you some examples. And you tell me whether income will be classified under which head. I am Mr. A. I have a house property. I have let out that. And I am earning rental income. Where will it go? It's a very simple question. Nothing great. Please tell me. Where will it go?
House property.
It will go income from house property. Nothing great. Such a simple question it is. Yes, it is simple. If a person has a spare house property, he is giving on rent, he is earning some rent, income from house property, compute the income, 30% deduction, GAV, VAV, whatever it is, right? Let me ask you another question. Now listen carefully. I am Lodha Builder. Have you heard about Lodha Builder? Have you heard about Lodha Builder? It's a very big builder. Matlab, I can say he is the biggest builder in the entire country as of now. All these skyscrapers in Mumbai of around 115 floors, 120 floors, he is constructing that. He might not be very famous in South, but in Bombay, especially in South Bombay, he is very famous. So what is his main incidental work, primary work? Construct and then sell, right? Construct and then sell. This is his primary work, right? Now, listen carefully. Suppose Lodha has made a building of around 100 floors, out of which 50 floors are sold and 50 floors are unsold. They are not sold. Okay. So now the question is, what is thought? These floors are not getting sold yaar. Let's let out this. Let's let out this and earn some income. Okay. So he earned some rental income. Here the debate will start. Where will this rental income be chargeable to tax? Please answer. What do you feel? There will be difference in opinion, definitely. Just tell me in common parlance, let's not get into technicality. What is business? We'll see tomorrow. Okay, Prashant is saying house property because there is a specific head for house property, right, Prashant? Palani is saying PGPP, Vignesh is saying house property. Just try to understand, is there an ambiguity which is coming now? We are very few people. Within few people, also there is ambiguity or not? It's a very ambiguous discussion. It's not that easy to classify an income into proper head. One person will say house property, another will say PGPP. Acha, I'm asking you what is better? As an assessee, what is better? PGPP, why it is better? How it is better than house property? What expenses you will have when you let out the property? What expenses you have? Saddam? What expense you have? Saddam? Saddam, think. When you think, you come to know there is no expense. Maybe maintenance expense, etc. But for that, you are anyways getting 30% extra deduction every year, na? In house property. So house property is not better. It's a financial decision. Which is better? Actually, we have to make a calculation. Let's not get into that, which is better. Let's talk about what is the correct head. What do you feel? And the answer is income from house property. It is not PGP. Why? Because the Supreme Court of India has said that because there is a specific head for house property, the rental income from a property will always come under property. It cannot go under PGBP. Lodha's work over here is to construct the building and please tell, not to let out. His objective is to construct and then to sell. Whatever profit he will earn out of sale, that will be definitely PGBP. Are you clear? Now let me give you one more example. Listen carefully. Yeah, please.
The issue because there is I can listen to my own voice.
That's what you have to mute yourself. Just wait, or else I have to mute myself.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, yeah, that's fine. No, again it's the same. No, again it's the same.
Yeah, it's repeating. Yeah. Now, the very objective over here is, pay attention. I will ask you another question. There is a company ABC Limited. Or rather, I will take the name of the company directly. The name of the company was Chennai Properties and Investment Limited. It's an actual company based in Tamil Nadu. The main objective of this company was, it was written in the memorandum of association also of the company. The main objective of this company was to acquire property and let out. It is written in the memorandum of association in the object clause. Plus the substantial income. The substantial income was also from let out. You can just understand this is nothing but like a mall. Shopping mall. What does a shopping mall does? Shopping mall constructs the mall and then let out the entire mall, small shops to different people, right? And they earn rental income. What do you feel? Where it will go? Which head? These rental incomes will go where? Palanipan is giving all opposite answers. Where it will go? It's a matter of great confusion. It's not that easy to classify income in practical life. That's what I am saying. Where it will go? It will go now under PGBP. The Supreme Court of India has held this now in 2015. Why? Because now Supreme Court said that this case is very different from this Lodha's case. Lodha's main objective was to what? Construct and sell. And if Lodha is letting out, then that is not his business income. Are you understanding? But if this company's main objective is to acquire and let out, and substantial income is also coming from let out, their main objective is let out only, then this income will be classified under what? Income from business and profession. Are you clear? This was a very landmark judgment of Supreme Court in 2015. You can see over here. Chennai Properties and Investment Limited, which is there in your color book also. Are you clear? So we'll stop the discussion here. We will continue the discussion of classification tomorrow and then we'll go ahead. Okay.